Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Lookers Jaguar, the new name for Taggarts. The same friendly faces and great service with a new name above the door.
What a save! What an eight!
There is something to play for.
An area here has gone berserk!
This is Rangers versus Ajax. Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are settling down to watch the big game. Gabriel is in the stadium. Are the teams out yet, Gabriel?
Yeah, the teams are just getting ready to come out of the tunnel, Gordon. We are 5 minutes away from Rangers' final Champions League game of the season. Now, after 10 years in the wilderness, the Champions League anthem has been ringing around this famous old stadium once again. The fans will hear it one last time until next season at the earliest. And these supporters have been accustomed to European football after Christmas, but it would take something more than special to secure that tonight. Rangers require to win by a 5-goal margin to leapfrog Ajax and finish in third place. So instead, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst simply has his eyes on the team's first points of the group stage. A victory would give this crowd a much needed lift before they turn their attention back to domestic football. A single point would ensure that they do not join the unwanted list of 22 sides who have lost every game in the Champions League group stage. And of course, the worst team ever tag is looming over both Rangers and Victoria Poulsen, so a point would avoid that. And Rangers did deliver one of their best performances of the season at the weekend, a 4-1 win over Aberdeen. Speaking to John Lundstrom after the game, he said the team have to build on that performance, as did James Sands. I was speaking to him yesterday, and he said that the players feel that they owe the fans something. This is the perfect opportunity to give them that big moment, that big game, a big victory against top elite European opposition. And we can just see James Tavernier and Dusan Tadic both in the tunnel, Gordon. We're just 5 minutes away from kickoff.
Yeah, you can sense still that, you know, that big game atmosphere. Everyone knows the Champions League music, all the rest of it. It's still top level European football under the lights. Mark Wilson, it's just a shame we go into Matchday 6 tonight and tomorrow without anything really at stake. And Gabriel's obviously given us the permutations about unwanted records and so on, and I'm sure if Celtic were to get something in the Bernabeu tomorrow, it would be celebrated. It would be a big achievement. But nevertheless, it's about making the best of a bad group campaign, I suppose, over the next two nights.
Of course, the damage has been done already for both in this group. But Daz mentioned it earlier, professional pride. Those players will want to go out and have on their CV that they won a Champions League game at home at Ibrox. And that's the thing for the Rangers players. They almost have to contradict what their manager said after match day 1 against Ajax, that we can't compete at this level. Rangers players have to go out there and show tonight that they can compete with a team like Ajax at home, and that's the incentive for them, to go out and win the game, finish with 3 points, and it all doesn't look as bad as it did a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I agree with Mark. I think that a bit of professional pride is in store tonight, Gordon. Plus the fact, I think Mark touched on it earlier, there's money to be made here for Rangers in the club. So it's a big night for them. They don't want to finish their European campaign with no points and the stigma of the worst team. So I think you'll see an improved Rangers tonight. Whether they can keep a clean sheet is another big ask for me. But I'm sure the manager would have had a few strong words as they left the dressing room.
I mean, see, even on the financial side of it, Mark, a win, it's £2.5 million. I mean, what is that to Rangers in players' terms? You know, it's a fair whack to put in a wage pot for next season. That's not necessarily directly how it works, but
well, not having a go at our league, but what do the winners of our league get?
It's about 3 and a bit, I think.
So not much more than that.
Yep.
So
one win in
the group stage, so it's huge money at this stage. And personally, look, I know people don't like chatting about this. The players themselves will get financially rewarded for a win as well. It's sometimes the incentive you need when there's nothing to progress in the group. So look, Rangers have got it all there. The Ibrox is full. You know, there's none of this, not turning up or fans that have bought their tickets and think this is meaningless. You can see from the support there tonight that they are desperate for for a Rangers home win?
Well, I mean, I think I saw a lot of chat on Twitter about quite a lot of people selling tickets or moving spares on, but by and large, you can hear it's the atmosphere is certainly one that maybe doesn't feel like a dead rubber, Gabriel. You even look at the Ajax fans as well.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't, Gordon. Just listen to that, the Rangers fans singing. Not an empty seat in sight. The Ajax fans tucked away in their corner. They've been loud for the last hour. Their flares have just gone off, about 15 in the away, and they've been making noise in the centre of town earlier. They want to see their team repeat that opening day 4-0 victory, but Rangers won't be happy with that. And James Tavernier just shaking hands with his opposing number, Dusan Tadic, moments away from kickoff here. I'll give you a quick run through of the 11 that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has chosen. Alan McGregor in goal, James Tavernier, Leon King, James Sands and Borna Barisic at the back, Stephen Davis, Scott Arfield and Malik Tillman in midfield, Fashion Sakala off the right, Ryan Kent off the left and Antonio Cholak through the middle. Speaking to Giovanni Van Bronckhorst yesterday, he said the two teams couldn't be compared. Ajax are miles ahead in terms of finance and experience at the European level, but he said a win will mean the whole campaign would end on a positive before they return to domestic duty and the 4 league matches before the World Cup. There's smoke from those flares falling onto the pitch now as the referee hands the ball to Ryan Kent. This will be the final Champions League match that Rangers play this season. The question is, can they pick up their first point or perhaps even 3? Kickoff is up next.
Super Scoreboard European football coverage with MoyerandSweeney.com. The top team for your defence.
Here we go then. It still feels like a big game, Gordon. Let's just give it the big game treatment. There is that last possibility that Gabriel didn't mention, of course, that Rangers do the unthinkable, score 5, don't concede any, and get into the Europa League group stages after Christmas. It would be quite something. Yeah,
it would be quite something as Rangers try and get off to that fast start, Gordon, we're talking about. I don't think it'll happen, but I totally agree with you. I still think it's a very important game tonight. I think it's an important game for the Rangers players as well, to show that they can maybe, compete at that level and show the supporters that they have got that fighting spirit. It was very much improved at the weekend against Aberdeen, but this is another step up, and I think it'll be up to Rangers players to go and create the atmosphere in Ibrox tonight, because as much as you say the 12th man or the 13th, whatever you want to call them, yeah, that has to come from the players. And I've always said, if the players play for the front of the badge, Gordon, the supporters will remember the name in the back.
Jeez, honestly.
It's your worst one by far.
It's quite good, isn't it?
No, it's not. No, it's awful.
I'm trying to get it psyched up.
I'm sure
here.
producer Callum genuinely has a Dundee United mug with that slogan on it.
Really?
No.
Oh, he's pinched
I
it off.
genuinely think he does.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't pinch it from there. Behave yourself, Dundee United.
Yeah, can't believe you've just quoted Ray McKinnon. Incredible. Who would have thought?
Mug.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Rangers were looking to press high. They didn't want to let Ajax play out from the back. The Ajax keeper just went long, so sometimes that gives you a wee clue of how the game is going to pan out. And Rangers very much up and at it early on. They're in the faces of Ajax and they're going on the attack here. Fashion Sakala, who we mentioned, but Cholak just shows too much of that to somebody, I've no idea who, because there's so much smoke on the pitch from the flares that I have no idea who it was.
I don't think that's a good ball from Sakala. I think Cholak's making a very clever run there to try and take defenders away. Sakala's on the front foot, he's going at pace. Go and be positive. He plays a needless ball into Cholak for me. I don't think the striker was looking for that ball.
Just looking at Alfred Schroeder, the Ajax head coach, did they just deliberately pick a guy that looked like Ten Hag?
Was that looks like his brother?
Did they just grow the new Eric Elevenhag?
Yeah.
And then stick him in because he's got the same lack of hair and the same sort of look.
Yeah, we just seen a shot of the De Boer twins there.
I know, you would get different glasses or something, wouldn't you?
Is it just me? I couldn't tell the difference. He says he could tell the difference between them right away.
Forever or now? Like now.
No,
I mean, have you always struggled to tell them apart?
Well, when they're playing the pitch, they're different position. But
No, I mean, I think Ronald's always had the sort of slimmer head, is it
Aye,
not?
a slimmer
face.
Imagine that, you're twin, you've got a slimmer head.
I don't buy into the glasses one, because Specsavers 2 for the price of 1.
I never found those two that difficult, but I will say they're looking particularly alike
Sharp,
tonight.
aren't they?
The same
They look,
glasses on.
they look fitter now than they did play. The Dutch boys look after themselves
Well,
when they retire. Not like this guy here to the left, who's
His pineapple and
and his
tomato pizza.
chest infection yawning up over.
I'm doing well here.
Well, they were getting on a bit when they came here as well, weren't they? So
They were
still
outstanding.
fit as a
I
fiddle.
think I did. Yeah, I would have played against them. Dundee United took a few beatings off them in my time.
That sounds about right. Mm-hmm. Was that your Hampden era? No, that was before that, was it?
Trouble.
Either of the De Boer's Ajax are
Trouble.
into the box. It's and it's in the back of the net already. I actually thought it was a scuffed finish, and it is the worst possible start for Rangers.
He's broke his foot in
It's
the
Rangers
process.
0, Ajax 1 after 3.5 minutes. That is not what the Rangers fans had in mind. It was finish the group on a high, get the positive results, start quick, show a tempo. They're 1 down in 3 minutes, Gordon.
I said when I seen the team coming out, and I'm not being disrespectful to two centre backs, but they just get cut wide open, really wide open, and I never thought for 1 minute they could keep a clean sheet.
I mean,
Tavernier.
like, I'm going to. Tavernier, horrendous from an experienced right back. Why he's so wide and leaves a gap the size of Sucky Hall Street between him and King, I've no idea. He's almost inviting the Ajax midfielder to play inside me, which he does, and he's got no chance. He can't recover. It's cut back.
Virgo's-
It's laid off.
I can't really describe what he does, which is not ideal for a radio show. He scuffs the finish to the point where Leon King actually
Thinks this
he
can back
puts his
something.
hand out as if to say that's going wide. Alan McGregor's lying on the ground in the opposite direction, and the ball ends up in the bottom corner, and there's more trouble for Rangers because Ajax smell blood here and they're into the box. Borna Barisic does well for the corner. Gordon, I'm thinking back to your staunch defence and praise of James Tavernier earlier on in the show.
Poor. I've got to be honest, Gordon, I can't really defend the captain there. He's left his 2 centre backs, exposed there. I thought the lad, look, did he meet, because he certainly hurt his foot. He's still limping a minute after it, but it doesn't matter. The ball's in the back of the net. Poor defending, and Ajax will now, the confidence will be incredible. They're going for it. Rangers are under a little bit of pressure. They can't afford to lose another one.
Yeah, Mark, the finish gets a bit of luck in the sense that it wrong foots the Rangers defence, but had he struck it clean he probably scores anyway, if that makes any sense, because it's a massive chance for it. It's not like it's out of the blue. It's a huge chance. They break, there's a layoff on the edge of the box, and it always looked like it would be a goal. It just went in a fairly unconventional manner.
Rangers back 4 are spread as wide as our box, if not even wider, with Tavernier out there. So they're so disjointed 3 minutes in. I mean, Tavernier just now, gets out of jail a bit this season sometimes with some goals that he scores, and the weekend was on. I thought he was so poor at the weekend, but the goals that he's at fault for this season, and here's Ajax coming again.
They've sliced it wide. It's another decent chance for Ajax. This
It was
is
offside, Gordon.
one-way traffic.
It was offside.
Yeah, as you said, Mark, I mean, we had a lot of criticism for the way Tavernier couldn't track Montano for the Livy goal.
Yeah.
We then heard criticism of the fact that he switched off when Duke went to ground at the weekend, and he just sort of didn't play the whistle, and Connor Barron.
It's almost like he's reverting back.
Games in a row.
Reverting back defensively to the Tavernier 3-4 years ago, or whatever that was, when we always used to have a go. Now, no doubt he got much better, and I think playing beside Goldson certainly helps him. I think Goldson keeps him in check sometimes where to go positionally.
Could be a possibility
I think
then,
King inside, wee bit more inexperience, maybe not allowed enough voice, and maybe Tavernier just needs pulled in, because that's alarming defending from a right back.
Excellent from Malik Tillman. That's the best piece of play we've seen from Rangers, and he just tries to force an ambitious ball in, and it just about gets cut out. But really good from Tillman, turning in the halfway line, driving forward, and Rangers need something like that. Even forget what we were talking pre-match, about winning the game, my goodness, the 5 and all that stuff, but even just to take the pressure off, Gordon, because it looks like Ajax could score again easily.
Yeah, the only thing that you could probably take a little bit from is, I know it's Aberdeen. They lost a goal against Aberdeen and they come on strong, getting the equaliser very quickly. But Ajax are, for me, especially in the middle of the park, are getting far too much space.
A lot of people tweeting, Mark. Andy was talking about it last night as well. Is that pass ambitious chip
Good effort
on Alan McGregor, who gets back and saves it in the end? Is the pass that good? Is James Tavernier's position that bad that this doesn't come into play? Or are those calls and tweets that we get about him not moving quite the way that he used to valid here?
Well, he certainly didn't look quick getting back in, that's for sure. He certainly didn't look quick getting back in at the weekend and the week before either. However, if he is struggling, and this is only for a personal experience, if he is struggling, you give yourself an extra couple of yards in your position so you don't need to get back in. If it then goes outside you, you then deal with it. You've got a chance of you slowing the winger up and getting a midfielder across.
Is that why you just used to stand next to Artur Boric?
By the way,
just chat
but
to
by
him.
the way, you would, if you look back at my performances, sometimes you would see me playing narrow when I'm playing against a fast winger, because you think, well, get it out to him and I'll get there.
Seeing the defence here, right? Tavernier is a lack of confidence for me. He got a good goal on Saturday with the header. Gordon missed a penalty, unfortunately. Right, but he's not playing at his best. But see there, for instance, the minute that he's caught out of position, you're still hoping your two centre halves do a bit better. Davis gets caught with the runner. You see Davis trying to get back in the picture. He gets caught with the runner. So as much as we're pointing the finger at Tavernier, there's still a bit to do. So other people have got to take responsibility. But I think Mark made a great point there. I think Golson's such a big player. You know, he can help guys. He can help settle people down, talk people into positions. You've got two inexperienced centre halves playing tonight.
It's very open, Mark.
They look like they're enjoying this.
Very, very open. And this is where I suppose it can be. And there's a good tackle from James Tavernier.
Good game.
Is this where, you know, that idea of when you concede a goal so early, what it does to your game plan? Because we're talking about this, you called it a free hit, Gordon, and people just wanted to see the shackles off, have a goal, try and win the game, try and get a point. But if you play that open and then you're one down in 3 minutes, you know, it's quite a difficult balance to strike.
It's the risk that you run, Gordon. You look at the way Celtic play in the Champions League, very open. They give up goals, but they're very fortunate. They create chances. They've not scored the chances that they should have in the Champions League. I think Rangers are quite right to come tonight, especially at Ibrox. Try being the front foot, try and get players forward. It's an attacking team, but you've got to defend properly. We had one caller on right away saying, look, we see us scoring goals, but we can't keep a clean sheet. Nope. And I totally agreed with that.
Bit of a chance for Rangers. Unfortunately for the Rangers fans, they know all too well about the recovery pace of Calvin Bassett. And he gets in, just kicks it high into the stand, and it'll be a throw-in to his former team.
More direct there from Rangers, you know, missed out the midfield, went forward over Bassey's head, and it almost looked like Cholak was getting onto that, but Bassey, like you say, Gordon, you know how good he is at recovery, and he kicks out, but here comes Sakala now.
It's brilliant from Fashion Sakala, just one too many, tried to drop the shoulder and go beyond the last defender who stuck out a toe. Is that the bit, Mark, that Rangers fans, for this entire group though, can live with? If you try and beat a man and it doesn't always work, fine, but I'm thinking back to, you know, Liverpool and Napoli. We had so many complaints about the intent to do that just not even being there.
I think they're totally spot on to feel that way. I think you can always accept your players having a real go, you know, like Sakala's done there. You know, Kent needs to do it more in these group stages. It's the fear factor some of the Rangers players have looked to have had that I think's frustrated the fans.
I think a lot of players, and quite rightly so, you're brought up with the slogan, take them on, right? Especially if you're a wide player, you get a 1v1, take them on, or go and bounce something off the centre forward. Look, he was positive, it was good defending.
A bit better from Rangers in the sense that, you know, it looked really ropey for the first few minutes. Even after the goal, Ajax felt like they could have added to it, but this is better from Rangers. Now here's Ryan Kent. Can he do what he's perhaps not done enough and bamboozle a defender? He certainly tries. They stay with him. Tillman's there at the edge of the box, good feet from him, but it's just snuffed out. Again, it's better that from Rangers though. Yeah,
I think it's better play, but I think Tillman's got to move that and take a shot quicker. I think he gets that out his feet and hits it. He takes too long, and at that level, if you take that extra touch, the defenders will snuff it out. I thought it was good play with Kent once again. Back to the take him on. He was causing problems. He went inside, played a good ball to Tillman. I think Tillman's got to do a little bit better.
It is the difference in this competition. Daz is right. See the front players in proper Champions League outfits. They know when to drop the shoulder and go by someone. They know when to pop it off and get it the other side. They're just so clever. But look, everybody keeps saying it. That's why they sell, these players for 50, 60 million, whatever, 70 million they just sold Anthony for. I think, we don't get that.
So there's Ryan Kent, gets to the byline, he's going to stand one up, and it's cleared off the line by Calvin Bassey of all people. It was a really good cross, a very good header. Sakala got up extremely well, and it looked like the ball was going to end up in the back of the net, but for Calvin Bassey on the line.
He couldn't do anything else, Gordon. Great play with Kent on the wide area. He fancies it tonight Now, we've seen this before with Kent, first 13, 15 minutes, but he certainly went by the full back with these. I think that's a terrific ball. Sakala back post, I don't think can do anything else. I think it's a good header, great defending Bassey. No wonder I get 22 million.
Sakala does get up quite well. We saw that a few times last season, didn't we? Was the one at Motherwell? Was it Dens Park or something as well? I think we saw it a few times. But Calvin Bassey clears off the line. And here, to go back to what we said, Mark, about the importance of taking someone on, Ryan Kent actually doesn't get past his man cleanly, but even it gets a nick and it falls. Sometimes it falls your way, and if you just commit, these things sometimes happen.
Positivity, when you get the ball. How many times have we seen in this group stage Ryan Kent run up to somebody and turn back and go inside? All too often. Tonight, these last couple of minutes, looks positive.
Yeah, corner Rangers, but it outswings away from everyone and causes Stephen Davis just to pass it back.
Good spell this though for Rangers.
I think you would be a bit more, Rangers have been more positive since they went that goal down. They were in trouble. That's a great ball.
Oh, good defending. Wow, very good. It was offside flag up anyway. Rangers on the attack again. Much better this from Rangers, but they have given themselves a mountain to climb with that start. I
thought that was a terrific ball from the Rangers captain Tavernier. We've just seen this replay again. Kent stands that up brilliantly. I'm going to say that Sakala, it's not even getting in.
Oh, it's not gone in.
Hold on. That's, by the way, I reserve my judgment on that. I heard Daz saying he couldn't do any more.
Well, he could hit the target, yeah.
I thought with Bassey's positioning, I thought it looked like he wasn't on the line. But
listen, you speak up.
No, I just wanted to give him his moment with his chest. He's having a hard night with the old chest infection. I think it's affecting his eyesight.
I didn't get the right angle there, but I'd like to apologise to the listeners.
To be fair, we certainly didn't get the right angle, because I was kind of with you as well. I didn't
Thank
realise
you,
it was
Gordon.
going wide.
Thank you. I need a bit of support, but it's good play from Ajax again. They knock the ball about, they're comfortable. They seem to be targeting down this Rangers right hand side with Tavernier. The ball seems to go out to the left hand side. They're getting overloads. There's another ball in behind. They've looked at this between Tavernier and is it Sands? It's on the right hand side for Rangers, King on the left, or is it vice versa?
I think it's the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
But even there, I know it comes to nothing. By the way, I think was Rangers calling for a handball here. This hit his hand.
It's not a handball.
Earlier on with Tillman, where he was trying to move it quickly, I seen Cholak at the time claiming for a handball, but his arms in the ground supporting him.
They say that if it's your supporting hand, if you're down and it's the one that's taking your weight, I think that tends to not be an offence. So
I'd be more disappointed Tillman not getting a shot away there, man. CVC's first touch, then he takes the other one and he gives the defenders the opportunity to close him down.
Just moments ago there, though, it came to nothing. Ajax, poor pass forward. But again, Ajax just drift off the back between Tavernier and King, and Davis or Arfield or Tillman don't track the midfielder. Now if they get that pass right, he's inside the centre half and right back again. So I don't get why they don't see it, or they're not communicating enough to see it.
Rangers try and put on an aggressive press, but it was a bit too aggressive.
Yeah,
it's a great name that for a guy who just fell down in the box, isn't it?
Do you know you beat me there? I can't believe that.
Timber Townie went.
Oh, he just stole my thunder. About Timber.
Hold on, I'm on the same
wavelength as him. See, that's car sharing for all the years together.
That's what Mark's carrying that boy there. A bit of Timber. But it's good play with Rangers here, but do you know what I like, Gordon? I think it's a very open game. I think we're in for a good game. More goals in this, no doubt about that.
They are so comfortable on the ball. I know we're saying that they're going through maybe a ropey period. They move it so well.
Where is the Rangers defence on this occasion? It's crossed in and it's only half clear. I was looking for either Ryan Kent or Barisic.
Yeah.
I think Barisic had tucked in, had he, Mark?
I think so, yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, Sands had went out to engage with a midfielder who was twisting, turning, and eventually plays a pass. So again, a bit disjointed.
Really good from Fashion Sakala.
Yeah,
really good. He snaps in, dispossesses, wins a free kick, and there's a booking showing to Taylor.
But Sakala looks positive tonight, so he does. Every time he gets the ball, he's looking to go forward. Okay, he's maybe picked the wrong option a couple of times, but there at least he's shown that pace and energy that I think Rangers have lacked in this campaign so far.
It's certainly been a very frantic opening 18 and a half minutes, you've got to say, Mark. I think end-to-end stuff, both teams looking to, go and score goals. Ajax, unfortunately for Rangers, getting that early one, but Rangers showing a bit of positivity here.
Yeah, Calvin Bassey taking no chances and just booting the ball into the air. I think that bit of it, by the way, to us, that I don't think there was much wrong with that, but Dutch football sometimes looks at itself in a different light. Maybe still a bit raw for some of the commentators over there. Is that why you're seeing these comments on social media every now and then? Not overly impressed.
Bit harsh, because he seems to be a mainstay in that side. He's still a young man. I think he'll settle in there fine. I think he's got all the attributes. Seen the big games last season. That's what put that fee
100%.
Yeah, in the final. And
even as late as, was he not getting a bit of stick for the January game?
Yeah,
against Celtic.
Yeah, it was.
I think it's a settling in period. New club, new style of football. Surely he's offside. He's miles in front of Tavernier on the left hand side there. But look, Bassey's got the quality, Gordon. There's no doubt. He's got everything in his locker to be a top defender.
So 20 minutes gone, Rangers 0, Ajax 1. A very early opener for the visitors. It was not the start Rangers had planned. They have looked better. I was going to say they've had a Sakala header cleared off the line. Doesn't really look like it was going in, but it was Rangers' best opportunity anyway. Ryan Kent to the byline, stood it up, and a good jump from Fashion Sakala. So that's about as close as Rangers have come. They've pressed, tie up, they've tried to be in the front foot, but you can also sense a bit of space for Ajax, and they look like they know it.
You can, but I think Van Bronckhorst will be happy. After 5 minutes, the goal goes in, was it 3 or 4 minutes? And then Ajax are immediately on the attack. Van Bronckhorst must have been sitting there in the dugout thinking, here we go again. So just to steady the ship and to string a few passes together and have that chance with Sakala, I think he'll be happier how his team settled and felt their way into the game. And it's not done and dusted. If you give this team too much time, they'll put this game to bed before the half hour mark. But Rangers are much better in the way they started anyway.
And if you are that type of football fan, I suspect more likely a rival fan who's keeping an eye on these things. Victoria Pilsen are a goal down to Barcelona, so that's them conceded 18 now in the group stages. Rangers 19. If that sort of thing floats your boat, Gordon Dalziel.
No, it's not floating my boat just now, Gordon. I'm fully concentrating on this game at Ibrox. I'm enjoying it. Obviously Rangers fans won't be. They'll enjoy the fact that I think Rangers have responded well as they force a corner there. And one thing I've noticed tonight is they're playing a lot of long balls. You
just see that there. I mean, we're obsessed with pass nowadays. Barisic just goes long there, and Timber gets his touch all wrong, and it goes it for a corner.
I think you're right, by the way, just on something I meant to bring. I think, contrary to what you would expect, which is the trap I fell into, I think James Sands is on the right of the back four and Leon King's on the left.
Well, I think I know my stuff.
No, you do, that's the thing, just to give you credit where it's due.
Doesn't come along often enough for me, Gordon. But
I think it was a lucky guess.
It probably was, yeah. Like the St Mirren one tonight and beat the pundit.
Tavernier's going to try and rampage forward after this corner. Rangers might need to be careful. I think luckily for them,
in trouble.
Oh, maybe not.
Trouble.
Maybe there is no luck here. No, Rangers have got bodies back.
Yeah.
It was a 4-on-2 in Rangers' favour. There is going to be a second wave of it though. As Ajax look to come forward, a second goal would certainly knock the stuffing out of Rangers. The first one, and it's a reverse ball in behind Sakala. The Ajax winger gave up on it. I thought he maybe could have got it, but Rangers won't mind that.
He just chucked it there. I thought if he kept going, he was easily on it. It was Sakala this time that switched off with the ball inside him, but you can just see the gaps here. Even if it's a wide player back, just the distances between whoever's widest and whoever's inside are too large. These teams will pick you apart.
It initially looked like another great run from Malik Tillman, but he's lost it. And has he shown the desire to get back in? He does a bit. That's what Rangers fans have been hoping for.
I'm going to make
to stay with it on there.
And in the end, it's actually going to be a goal kick. I think that Rangers did get the break of the ball. Ajax thought they had a corner.
I'm going to make a defence for Tillman there. I think he does brilliant, but at no point did I see blue jerseys come to support him or offer him a pass, and he just runs into a dead end and gives the ball away. Rangers players have got to be brave enough to make angles and get on the ball and play. They've got Davis in the middle of the park, who's a terrific player, great experience. They've got to have options when they're on the ball.
Sakala's causing problems. That's him now drawing another foul over on the far side. There's no booking this time. It didn't quite tick the stopping a promising attack box, but he goes for the nutmeg. Just gets pulled back.
He started well, Mark.
Very well.
Started well. I've been impressed with him.
Just lively, energetic. I think that's what Rangers have been missing too often in these games, that they're all a bit tentative, whether he looks like he's just coming in and thinking, I'm going at this full tilt here, and I don't care who I'm playing against.
Yeah, it's excellent from Ryan Kent as well. Just has to shrug off the attentions of the right back, slips one to Barisic. And you're seeing a bit more willingness from Rangers to get forward, because Stephen Davis came over. It didn't go to him, but he came over, Mark, tried to make that triangle, something that really never happened against Livingston. I never saw that.
No, it's been missing for a while, that sort of creativity. I think they've relied on their wide guys so much. Just give them the ball and let's hope something happens in previous weeks. Whether before, when Rangers were winning games and looking threatening, it was those little triangles and runners off the ball. They've been a bit better at it tonight, and they're getting their joy. Sakala again, opportunity to run it. The Ajax defence.
Yeah, Scott Arfield felt he was maybe going to get in. Cholak not quite in the same wavelength. They're having a discussion about it now, but either way, it's in the arms of the Ajax keeper.
I think Arfield's quite right there to ask the question of Cholak. It's a good ball in, it's a hard one to take. He's got to do better there. He's got to do better. Get yourself in front of the defender, which he is. Get yourself to the ball and your favourite. And Arfield can come in. But I think Scott Arfield was quite right to have a little go at Cholak there, just to tell him, listen, we need better, need to be stronger.
I agree, because Cholak was in front of the defender.
He's almost too worried about the defender and ignored the small matter of the
football. Because it was a great position. I think they actually do well to work into that. Arfield does brilliant with his touch and round the corner, but Cholak needs to be stronger. And that's where I suppose the comparisons are always going to be. A fit Morelos of seasons gone by, he doesn't get beat there from any centre half. Here comes Ajax again, split them open. Yeah, the ball, luckily Rangers have men back, and then Ajax think better of taking the shot. I'm not sure why, because it looked like the shot was on. Danger not quite clear yet. Corner to Ajax. I'm baffled with that. I'm really baffled with that. The lad's coming on to that, good pace. All he has to do is put his laces through it, test the goalkeeper maybe. They decide to go back the way, but they forced a corner here. Rangers just need to be careful. You know what, that was a classic example. A playmaker like Tadic seeing a defender come to take the shot, and he's just thinking, I'll take that. This is my job. You stay back. Mark Wilson, get out my road. Yeah, but I would have sclaffed it into the ground, maybe off the centre half and in, and claimed it. Count. Tadic's left-footed delivery is decent. You remember Rangers were undone by a set piece for that first goal. In fact, it was that man there, wasn't it? Yeah. It was Alvarez, if my memory serves me correctly. Maybe I've got that one wrong. But it's been a real feature of Rangers in the Champions League this season. Poor set piece defending. They really can't afford to lose another goal, Gordon. I don't see any way back for Rangers if they did. I think they've just given away another corner. Same again. No. I'm surprised at that. I thought that was just the same again, but we'll get another look at it. Ajax players certainly seem surprised. Is the ref just fed up? Corners just mix it up a bit. Seeing Daz's point about Sands and King swatting positions, you wonder why that's come into thinking tonight. You know, why Sands now playing the right one? Because King has played the right side and replace Goldson. And I know when Sands played before.
It's a hugely risky pass from Rangers across their penalty box. They're in trouble here, and Ajax, good save. You would expect them to make it, to be fair, Alan McGregor. Maybe a bit of a tame finish, but Rangers got themselves in all sorts of trouble.
I think they're a bit of showboating from Ajax just now. I think that's a great opportunity, Gordon. We flex dummies. You're right, a goalkeeper of the quality McGregor is bound to sit, but you can't put yourself in trouble with a cross ball in the box and you give the ball away. I think it was King. Big learning programme for him tonight.
Ajax are in again. As the ball stayed in, it has, and it's in the back of the net. It's Rangers 0, Ajax 2. They may well take a look just to make sure that the ball hadn't crossed the line, but I don't think it did, to be honest. The protests from the Rangers players were not that strong, and with 28 gone, it's Rangers 0, Ajax 2, and it's feeling like the same old story for Rangers fans in the Champions League this season.
It's a shocking goal to give away again. And this, at any level, Gordon, you have to make sure you match runners. It's the most basic thing in football. Sometimes players don't like doing it, even forward players. And is it Sakala this time who just drops the runner, just switches off, and they get to the byline and cut it back? And again, the reaction in the box is that Steve Davis?
There's another deflection. Rangers have had a couple of them against Ajax over the two legs, but again, it was still a big chance.
What about James Sands here?
You can't stand off that way.
James Sands is standing off.
James stands.
James Sands
standing off.
Is standing off. Kudos. And almost allowing him to move it inside.
And then you feel for Leon King, because he ends up almost headering it into his own net. But he couldn't have done much there, could he?
Yeah, but that all stems from going back a couple of minutes ago when King plays a silly pass across, puts his team under pressure, then they give the ball away again, not track the runners. Look, as much as we've praised Sakala so far, you've got to track your runner, you've got to do the dirty side of the game. Go and work at it. But the minute the ball goes in, Matt's right. Sees a centre forward or a midfield player and you're in that box and a defender standing off you, it's absolutely luxury. It's brilliant.
By the way, there is a laziness about Rangers going back, and that is a problem. Now, Tavernier positionally, I think it's a laziness that he's out of position. I want to be forward thinking. Sakala there, he is the favourite. He's always the favourite to get back, but he allows the Ajax left back to overtake him.
And what is that? Because is that speed of thought? Is it instinct? You know that. Well, here he goes up the other end of the pitch and he looks quite quick. He does fashion Sakala. So what is it that stops players like him being effective in that situation?
And it's got to be a desire to not want to concede, to be solid defensively. I didn't see that from, or I did see that from Rangers, should I say, last year in the Europa League. If that was last year in the Europa League, I bet you whoever was playing outside right, whether it be Sakala or not,
outside right,
would have tracked him back.
You and Hugh Keevans being
but it's gone this season.
She's a forward player. I hate it tracking back, Gordon.
I can absolutely imagine.
Okay, yeah. But in your mind when you're tracking back, the one thing you're saying is, please don't let that ball be played in there because I'm going to struggle. And I think Sakala was the exact same. He was getting his body into the position, but he had no desire ever to go and close that down. It was really, really poor as Barisic goes here. Yeah,
Barisic took a sore one. He just fell down the sort of side of the slope at the pitch towards the advertising boards. It was a back heel from Tillman, and then the guy who would have been his teammate last season, Calvin Bassey, great speed and strength to come across, take the ball off him, and then ended up a bit of a sore one.
See if Ajax score again, is the DL free hit out the window?
I think that's gone a bit there.
Not two's okay.
You still have faith in the old free hit?
Yeah, two's okay. I think they'll get away with it. They're getting cut over. Left,
runners
right,
again, runners.
Yeah, Ajax are in behind here.
My goodness.
And it could be a third, and it's a great save this time from Alan McGregor to keep Rangers with some sort of respectability, and in fact with a slightly better decision making process. Probably should have been three, because that might be as big a chance as Ajax have had.
It's probably the best chance, because he just needs to square it to Kudos,
pass on,
and he puts it in. I think you even seen me Alan McGregor's face here. He was like, this could be anything here. It's a good save. Again, basics. Match your runner, get your body position right, Rangers don't do it.
Do you know the worrying thing for me is Ajax look like they're enjoying this tonight. They're enjoying the fact that Rangers are trying to open up. They're finding the spaces. They're clever players. They're good players. And a little bit of showboating at times, but this down the left hand side, they seem to have worked in that. There's no doubt the coach has worked on trying to get Tavernier 1-on-1s, getting balls in behind, because that's where they're getting their success from.
Yeah, just even the ease of that. Pass where the goalie throws the ball to the halfway line to where Bergwijn just takes his touch. It's not a Rangers player 20 yards near him and he sprays it wide. They're at the other end of the pitch.
Now, I think it's worth pointing out these stats are not the be all and end all, but there has been a bit of focus on them for Rangers games in Europe about the total distance covered, right? It's just popped up on the screen. Lots of fans were unhappy because over the 90 minutes Napoli covered 4 kilometres more than Rangers. With 33 minutes gone, Ajax are already 3 kilometres ahead of Rangers at this point.
And I think they're
going for a penalty here.
Mark will tell you in football, see when you've got the ball, running and making runs it doesn't get you tired. See when you're chasing, you switch off. You're like Sakala.
Right, okay, but to flip that, if you are chasing possession and the other team has it, should you not be the team that's running more? Because they're making the ball do the work.
Well, they're running into spaces to make it.
Yeah, but then once they've got it,
and they've got the ball more than Rangers, so their movement, Rangers are backing off. Look, there's arguments for both sides. I'm not into the great stats of it. I just think this team are enjoying the open play that Rangers are granting them. They've got the 2 goals. They're playing with confidence. Every one of them wants the ball. Some of the Rangers players went into a little bit of shell just now. They need to show a bit of character.
I mean, I think Rangers, as an example there, Mark, Rangers did really well. It was a great interception from Stephen Davis. He gave it to Ryan Kent, and as quick as a flash, there were 3 Ajax players round them. And no surprise, they get the throw it in, out they go. So on the attack.
It's pretty evident to the naked eye. I was just about to make the point there. I think that's one of those stats you can look at and easily see Ajax have run further. Same with Napoli, because the Rangers players at the minute all look a bit like
flat.
They're just going at such a slow tempo, and when you see players running off the back of others and nobody following them, of course you're going to run much further if you're Ajax. It's an alarming, it's a malaise that you don't want to set in at your club, because it's hard to pick yourself up. You need to start quick and you need to match runners and keep that tempo up. It's hard to raise it.
If you look at Rangers now, the guys are just going behind the ball, they're going deeper and deeper. Ajax are just playing in front of them, picking them off with passes. Look at the pace that Rangers are going there to close down. They're jogging. Ajax comfortable.
They're not going as a
down.
unit. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's where I suppose the Rangers fans are maybe right to have a go at the manager, because they must be looking at this going, well, what sort of instructions has this team got to press?
To be fair though, they were, but has
goals
as the beliefs, as either the belief being sucked out of them, or they're now being instructed to go into damage limitation mode, because they were pressing at the start.
Goals have killed them. The second goal especially. See when you're one, they got off to a good start. They were sharp. Sakala, Kent, we thought this could be a good night for them. You look at them now, they've given up territory in front. They're not pressing high up the pitch, they're going deeper. The belief has gone out this team just now, and they could.
Wow, the midfield is
going to struggle.
Bypassed very easily there for Rangers, and Ajax go.
Oh, look at it!
I should have played them
in and around the box again.
Yeah, I mean, Rangers fortunate there. Didn't match the runner again. Berghuis just makes a great run. They didn't see it.
Ajax come extremely close to a third. It's flashed across the face. A head in the hands moment for the Rangers fans, but it does go wide in the end.
I think the cameras on the Rangers fans now, it tells a story. They are shocked at what's going on here. A mile off, it's still another effort and goal that they worked well and they could have been in behind. It's
there was never trouble, but I agree with you. I think that Rangers in a bit of trouble here. They'll need big characters. You can't get into your shell. It's difficult. You're getting outplayed, you're getting outrun, you're getting outscored. Somewhere along the line you need to dig in. You need to try and get the next goal. Next goal can give you a massive list, but see if you lost it, It's going to be
No,
a
what's the
long
big call
second half.
for Van Bronckhorst? He did it. He's did it
Back three.
away at Ajax. He did it away at Napoli. They took a beating in the first half, and he's sort of thrown in the white flag and just went, "I'm retreating." Would he do that at home in the last game as well? Because
Gordon told us it was a free hit, remember, but
Yeah,
it's starting to not look like that then.
take that back.
I'm starting to look at that free hit. I think if he can't get his players going now, I think he'll start to come in for a bit of criticism, as much as it's true. Look, I think they've been excellent. I really do. I think they're playing with such confidence. Early goals helped them. Rangers are trying to play open football.
They've been allowed a fair bit though, haven't they?
Yeah. It's been too. I can understand it. It's been very open, and they've capitalised in that.
Good positive stuff from Sakala again. Tries to take two men on, almost wins a corner, and Rangers still have it. So again, even his. There's a chaos. There's a chaos. The ref gets in Malik Tillman's way.
When your luck's it, the ref's tackling you.
There is a sort of chaos factor about Fashion Sakala though, Mark. You saw it there. You know, we criticised him going back the way, but certainly going forward, he at least looks like he's worth persevering with to a point.
You know what? As a defender, I hated playing against players like that. They almost didn't know where they were going themselves, and sometimes they might just stumble across the ball and wrong foot you and go by you. I think Sakala's one of those, but I know he doesn't track the runner, right? So you could point the finger at him for that goal, but he's never the worst on this pitch tonight. At least when he's got the ball, he's trying to make something happen. Look at Kent again.
I've
look
not
at
seen
Kent.
Scott Arfield tonight.
Well, Arfield, but look at Kent again. He had that bright opening, like he's done before, and then have we seen him since? Arfield, you're right. Davis, non-existent. Been too many who haven't shown up for this Champions League group stage games.
I understand. I agree. Rangers get the ball there, and there was no pace going forward. There was no sprinting, trying getting into spaces, try getting behind. They're playing a very low key. Kent here. This is an opportunity. He's got to be positive.
Yeah, so Kent and Barisic partnership we've seen before, and the ball.
That ball looked out to me.
Yeah, it's probably not a great ball, but it does force Ajax to head the ball away, and it's led to a very similar injury to the one that Borna Barisic got, where he's fallen down towards the advertising boards, and
that ball not out.
Might need a bit of not yet. I don't think.
Stayed in, yeah. Much better from Kent. He's good at that turn. He is good at that turn. Not even touching the ball, going one way, defender falls for it, and he spins and goes. I actually thought he might just drive in himself and maybe have a pop. He decides to go to Barisic. That's better from Rangers. At least it's positive. At least he's got a runner round the outside him, and Barisic willing to get forward.
A goal like just before half time, Mark, would probably give them a little bit of hope. And as
tell you what, the old slope down the side of the pitch has caused a couple of problems. That looked a sore one.
Yeah, it was. I've never.
I think there's a bit of debate here because Rangers players don't feel that the Ajax player should be allowed back on just now because he has received treatment. But he is, I think.
Keep him off. They need all the help they can get at the minute. I don't think it's going to make much difference.
Rangers do take it short, and when the ball comes in, it's not great, but luckily Ajax make a mess of it. Scott Arfield, back post.
Great defending, by the way.
Good defending, corner kick.
It didn't come down quick enough for Arfield. He's obviously, his eyes must have lit up there.
How quick is Alvarez across? So that's defending for you. You know, they're two up just now. It's a chance, half chance for Arfield, but he's across, throwing his body in front, and it's a good block. Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble, by the way, the Ajax left back. Yeah,
there we are.
Looks like he's finished.
The advertising boards and the pitch slope, they've done their job.
Yeah,
they've wiped out an Ajax player.
From that left side as well, who's causing problems. I think it was him with assist for the second goal, I think, running off Sakala.
The Ajax actually not shy to go long. I know you always expect to play out from the back, but they tried to go direct, and Rangers deal with this one. Incidentally, if you're interested in the battle at the top of the table, I mean, look, it's pretty much Napoli's, isn't it? It would take
Are they won again?
No, it's 0-0. Liverpool 0, Napoli 0. It would take something remarkable again, much like this with the head-to-head, because remember Napoli won 4-1, was it, over in Naples against Liverpool?
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, it would take something spectacular. I don't think that's necessarily.
Klopp could do with a result though, couldn't he? I mean, they've been okay in the Champions League apart from that game in Naples, but not going great just now for them in the league.
Up and down for him, Mark.
I watched that game on Saturday, and it does sometimes feel like when things aren't going your way, they missed a lot of chances, and then Leeds got up and sucker punch it on Saturday night. So
you see how much I'm meant to the Leeds fans as well.
What
That's
about the manager?
pure passion. Oh, the manager,
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. That's your kind of celebration.
Oh,
See his celebration. Oh, yeah, the old hand going.
I thought it was brilliant. I like that boy. I like the way he talks.
I will hear nothing more about DL's old hand going, if you don't mind. Thank you very much.
Give people nightmares.
It's Jurgen Klopp's 400th game in charge. Did you see that?
Wow, 400.
Yeah, not a bad innings. Helps when you go deep into every single competition that you play in, I suppose.
Yeah, he's been a very successful manager. He still is a successful manager. Let's be honest about it. He's a top manager.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I always still feel like it's a semi-recent thing. Time just goes by so fast. But he's only the 4th Liverpool manager to reach that milestone.
Is he really? Yeah.
Joe Fagan
he's been there quite a long time now.
Yeah, I know.
6 years.
Like I say,
like
time just flies,
7.
doesn't it? Van Dijk, incidentally, it's his 200th game. But enough about that one, because we've got another game in our hands here. It's Rangers 0, Ajax 2. By the way, just on the subject of DL's hand going, if you want to check out, we've actually put a video up of it.
My hand going?
Yeah,
Who got into access to my place?
On Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the usual outlets. It's you two playing table football.
Oh yeah, it was a good day. I'm not so good at table football.
Oh, here's a chance. They're through. That's good.
Yeah, I think Tillman's just about going to recover.
Good.
The touch wasn't great. Good tackle from Malik Tillman. Half-hearted look at the ref from Alvarez, I think, to say, was that a penalty? But actually, Tillman, for all his criticism about going back the way Mark, that was excellent. That was exactly what you'd look for.
I think he does brilliant there, and here he comes now in the attack, but he had to be so careful, had to use his pace to get back, and he just got round the corner there and just managed to get his foot. And I don't even think, did the Ajax player claim for a penalty? We're going to see it again.
He just had a look, I think, at the ref more than anything.
That was never a penalty.
It's a bad first touch. Oh, he does great there. Yeah,
great
he does
tackle. Great tackle. But
again, it was too easy to get through. One side to the other, one straight pass, they're through. Rangers are leaving so much space in behind their back four, so many gaps in between left back, centre half and right back, that it's easy to play through, but it's also easy to play over the top. It's never a good combination, that.
But you're looking at back four. If everyone was fit, Mark, probably only one would have played.
Yeah, it's worth bearing that in mind, isn't it?
Yeah, you're looking at two guys.
Wait, did say to Ajax, by the way, go easy, because only one of us would have played here.
But you get my point,
to
Mark.
take it into account, that's all.
Yeah, they're all defenders.
One weekend in Sky Sports, and you're now been smart.
Hold on a minute. Would Barisic not have played? You've said Barisic should play.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think Yilmaz would have held that position. Would you agree with that?
No.
And then obviously your two centre halves. They're very inexperienced two centre halves. Sands probably, as a midfield player, it's getting used as a centre half tonight, and I think trying to form that partnership is a bit difficult for them. They're getting caught with their spaces.
Well, fear not if this cheers you up in any way. Victoria Pilsen have conceded again, so they're still just the one goal behind. Rangers. Barca have added a second, Ferran Torres with it, but the danger is that Ajax had a third because they're into the box again, and it's a big miss from Ajax. It's actually going to be a corner. I think there was a tiny nick that took it away from the Ajax toe, because that was about to get tapped into an empty net. There must have been a nick because it was out for a corner kick.
I think Tadic should score. I think he gets us all wrong here, and it does come off King. Rangers get off the hook, but kudos at the back post, almost putting it in anyway.
See, when you talk about, I would like to see how many times they've attacked down James Tavernier's side. That is a game plan he's worked on, the coach. There's no doubt. And I'll tell you what, they're getting plenty of joy down that left hand side. He's got to score.
Yes, Berghuis actually gets it all wrong, and almost kudos really. He probably still should have put it in at the back post, but the touch was enough.
I don't think he's expecting. I think the ball,
to
he's
wrong
expecting the
foot
ball
him,
in the back of net.
Half time, let's go to Ibrox.
Yeah, half-time here, it's Rangers 0, Ajax 2, and it's the same old story for Giovanni van Bronckhorst's men, with goals from Steven Berghuis and Mohamed Kudus giving the visitors a comfortable lead. A few boos as the players are just heading down the tunnel in front of me. And it was the worst possible start for the Gers. They were behind after 4 minutes. Steven Berghuis put the ball in the back of the net. It was rolled to him by Mohamed Kudus, and a left-footed side finish just scuffed into the ground, bounced past a hapless Al McGregor in the Rangers goal. But it must be said that Rangers did rally. They had much more pressure on the ball than in previous games in the Champions League. In the 13th minute, they had the best chance of the first 45. Kent had got into the match. He beat his man on the outside, dinked the ball far post to Fashion Sakala, who rose the highest. A brilliant header, but there was Calvin Bassey of all people to clear it off the line, although reverse angle showed it may not have actually been going in. But Rangers were playing certainly with more verve, keeping the ball a lot more and having some sustained periods of pressure, although Ajax always looked dangerous on the counter with their electric forwards. They made Rangers pay again just before the half-hour mark. Initially, there was a good move down the left-hand side of Ajax again. Came back to Kenneth Taylor, who forced a great save from McGregor. You thought the pressure was over, but then 30 seconds later, the Gers again failed to match runners on the right-hand side of their defence. The ball was cut back from the byline. Sands stood off Kudus, who fired the ball at Leon King, a deflection taking it past McGregor. And Rangers were just so cut open. Steven Bergwijn was in next. He took his time. He really should have squared the ball to make it 3. And then there was a chance right at the death. Dusan Tadic, the captain, just miscuing his shot. It could be 4-0 Ajax quite easily. Scott Arfield did have a shot blocked in the 40th minute. Ball just wouldn't sit down for him. And Rangers haven't been terrible here. They've had decent spells on the ball. Ryan Kent has been really good down the left, but they have been so poor at the back again. And at this level, you get punished. The unwanted tag of worst team in Champions League history is looming large here, with the team booed off as they went down the tunnel. Rangers 0, Ajax 2 at the interval.
The Super Scoreboard podcast is sponsored by Taggart's Motor Group. Taggart's have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. And as Taggart's are part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchise dealer groups in the UK, you can browse thousands of nearly new and used vehicles in stock nationwide to find your perfect vehicle. They've also launched Click and Sell. It makes selling your car simple by using their trusted dealer network of over 150 sites. Why not give it a go today? See how much you could make on your old car. Taggart's have Land Rover showrooms in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showrooms found in Hillington. Check out taggarts.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now let's get back to the podcast.
This is Rangers versus Ajax. Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Half time at Ibrox. It's Rangers 0, Ajax 2. Rangers have had some possession at times and carved out one or two opportunities rather than chances. But in truth, Ajax have had a fair number of chances as well. And it's been another sobering opening 45 minutes, Gordon.
It's been a sore one. I think that everyone inside Ibrox thought, right, we're off to a positive start. It looked a very open game. It suited the visitors right down to a T, Gordon. They got that opening goal early. Rangers responded a little bit, they come back into it. Their defending's been absolutely dreadful. I've got to say, at that level, if you defend like that, you are going to get punished, and that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Absolutely atrocious defending, and we're looking at it again and the gaps and how disjointed they are. It has made the point that it's a new back four inexperience. Well, it has showed in this first half. This level, you do get punished, and I think Rangers are fortunate that it is 2. I think it could well be 3 or 4 at this stage. The only positives, I guess, maybe Sakala. He is at fault for not matching his runner for the second goal, but going forward, he's shown that he's bright and he's a bit of a spark for Rangers. Kent has got to the touchline a few times, but there's been
a big negative
it's went under.
A big negative. We can try and build up the positive for the Scottish teams, of course we can, but the negative for me is looking at the first half, as well as being 2 down, they have not had a shot on target. I don't think They've not chased the goalkeeper.
Because the Bassey clearance probably.
Yeah, it was never
off
going
target,
anywhere
wasn't it?
near the goals, Gordon. But you're highlighting again, the goals that they're conceded. The centre backs are all over the place.
It's part of that to be expected given who they are.
Yeah, I said that at the top of the show. I agreed with the caller. Come on, I thought that there was goals that Rangers could get tonight, especially at home at Ibrox, but I never thought for 1 minute they'd get a clean sheet.
What do you do now, Mark, if you're Giovanni Van Bronckhorst? Because we spoke about it before, and I've been on this show long enough to know the way fans feel. It's alright saying that it's a free hit. It's alright saying that you just want the Champions League over. It's alright saying just get back to the domestic stuff. Until you lose 5-0.
Yeah.
Lose 2-0, fine. Lose 1-0, give it a go. Lose 2-1, whatever. Of course you're trying to get a positive result. Stick or twist if you're Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. Do you go and try and get yourself back in this, or are you trying to first of all make sure you don't concede a third?
Well, I'd be worried about that backline after what happened here against Liverpool and Napoli and how Rangers crumbled when they conceded. I'd be worried about my backline just now. Now, I think he's got to tighten things up and try and feel his way into the second half, and then hopefully from a Rangers point of view create 1 or 2 chances, and you maybe take one, you're back in the game. The danger is if you go for it and you go all out attack. This Ajax team come out and they score within 5 minutes again. Ibrox will empty. They fans will let the team know what they think of him. And then on the flip side, Gordon, if he does revert back to a back five like he's done before, will the Rangers fans be happy with that? Will they say, well, that's us throwing in the towel again? We're supposed to sit through 45 minutes of just watching Ajax. He's in a tight spot. I think
it's a real difficult one for a Rangers manager.
Any sign of any changes at the break, Gabriel?
Nothing yet, Gordon. You've got the Rangers players out just warming up. It must be said their bench is not as strong as it could have been.
Sorry to interrupt. What's Glenn Kamara doing? I just wondered if he might be an option.
No, I can't see Kamara. They've headed in. Actually, there's Kamara just walked out now with Alfredo Morelos. Morelos in a trench jacket. Doesn't look like he's warming up anytime soon. Kamara also not being put through his paces, you wouldn't say, so he's not going to be coming on, you would think, straight away. But he thought perhaps Giovanni Van Bronckhorst doesn't want to rush him back. He is coming back from injury, but perhaps we'll see him in the last 30 minutes, last 20 minutes. Ravi Matondo, the nearest player to me. He could come on a bit of a spot, but you have to say that Rangers' 2 best players certainly going forward have been their 2 wide men. Perhaps he will stick with that. But we know, as you've been saying, stick or twist, that's the question. Maybe we'll see a slightly more defensive formation, but they are so light on numbers, Gordon. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst does not have many options.
We will see. Second half coming up next.
This is Rangers versus Ajax. Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Second half underway at Ibrox. Too early to have any real action after the break. Just 50 seconds or so in, and it is still 2-0 to Ajax, as you would expect. No Rangers changes at the break, Gordon. Does that surprise you at all, or are there not too many options?
No, I don't think there's too many options. Kamara, for instance, maybe an option later. He's just coming back. Morelos maybe coming on, try to take them up the pitch a little bit. I think Van Bronckhorst has probably had a word and he's looking for a reaction, and if he doesn't get it, then obviously looking at the bench. But they just need to be careful. They can't afford to lose another quick goal.
Well, no change in shape. I think that was going to be the big call, but maybe personnel has put that to bed, because in games gone by you had the option of dropping somebody in there, whether it be Sands or Lundstrom could have even played there, I guess, but he's not got that option, so he's had to go with what he's got. He needs a better reaction in terms of tempo and shutting it, well, basically everything, but particularly defending and the willingness to run back with people, not just kind of pass them on to whoever. Because watching the reruns of the goal at half time, they are shocking. The 2 centre halves, I don't think actually have been helped by the midfield in front of them. I think when Kudos has dropped in so deep, you would usually pass it on to a midfielder, a deep line midfielder. But on both occasions, Sands and King, for both goals, have been dragged way out of position, and Ajax have exploited that. So It's going wrong in a lot of positions.
Here's a problem here, because Sands is down. I don't know if it's just he's winded. They seem to have taken a sore one.
He was actually the one who came in late on the aerial challenge, and he seems to have come off worse.
He should be okay, Gordon, but it would be a concern because I don't know who they'd play.
I was going to say, actually, I was going to make this point anyway, even before that injury to James Sands, because Mark's talking about, defending, and you guys were saying about dropping someone in. Rangers are really up against it with their lack of options centrally at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, there is not. You could argue James Sands isn't even a centre back and he's playing there, so there certainly isn't another one. And an undercooked Glenn Kamara side, there's not really any other central midfield options either.
That's why I'm not surprised. He couldn't really change to a back three for me. I just think that he's got to hope that Sands and King can get their distances, not get dragged about. Mark's right. Sometimes you've got to depend on your midfield to give you a bit of cover, a bit of protection. Davis isn't that kind of player. Tillman's not that kind of player. Arfield's not that kind of player. So personnel-wise, they're struggling.
I think Davis is struggling in that deeper role, because Tillman and Arfield look like they're playing ahead. Davis is playing the central one of the three. I think he's struggling in there alone, and he's a very good player, served Rangers well over the years, but it's just too much ground for him to cover tonight, and Ajax are exploiting that at every opportunity.
Yeah, Rangers on the front foot slightly in terms of pressing, although it's one pass does seem to just eliminate so many. It went right past Tillman, not necessarily his fault, maybe just a more structural issue, but it doesn't come to anything this time. And Cholak sort of operating on the halfway line, if you like. That's where Rangers are situated at the moment.
Yeah, and the troubling thing about it is, worrying thing if you're a Rangers fan, they're playing at their own pace, Gordon. They look comfortable, they're winning the ball back. Rangers are struggling a little bit. Just giving the ball away cheap.
It's a terrible pass from James Tavernier. I'm not even sure what the intention was. He got that all wrong. And here come Ajax into the box. Arfield scrambling back, and it's an easy take for Alan McGregor.
Just everything looks difficult for Rangers at the minute. Even that from Tavernier. Again, it's just rushed. Don't think it need to be rushed. He was trying to pass it, thread it through into the wrong area, and Ajax just cut it out easy, about 40 yards from goal, and come at Rangers again.
Oh no, the race is not looking good for Rangers. Victoria Pilsen have pulled one back as well, so it's heading further and further away. Trying to avoid having the worst record in the competition this season. A Thomas Chore penalty makes it Pilsen 1, Barcelona 2. Still goalless, I think, in the other game in Rangers group. Incidentally, did you see Calvin Ramsey's in the bench for Liverpool?
Is he really?
Good. He is. So
Good. Was he on the bench against? It was on the bench against Rangers, of course. When it went down at Anfield as well. So good for the lad, because sometimes you wonder if they're just going to fade to
he's
obscurity.
been injured though, hasn't he? That's the difficulty with him. And you just wonder, with a lot of the negativity surrounding Trent Alexander-Arnold, he might have got a bit more of a sniff if he'd been fit earlier on in the season.
Well, remember Andy Robertson, he had to wait his time, didn't he, for a wee bit under Klopp,
and then that went alright when he got in.
Not too bad. Yeah,
setting up charity, giving you a job,
Well,
you do praise him because he pays your wages,
yeah. No. He's the best left back in the world.
See if he ever leaves there, he'd be giving them dogs abuse.
Man of the match last week, was he not, against Ajax? I think. There you go.
Yeah.
Cling on to that for now. Ajax still trying to press. It goes back to Alan McGregor. He just plays a delicate floated ball out to James Tavernier. His pass is given away.
They just look sharper all over the pitch, to be honest.
But you know what it is? They're organised as well. We often just focus on how good these players are technically and how good they are 1v1s. See, out of possession, they just look like it in a totally different world from what Rangers look. Organised, know when to press, know who's coming out of position to engage the ball. They're just better in every aspect.
Malik Tillman's done that a couple of times. He's scrapped away and he's put himself about at times. Yes, I know there are other times when you look at the sort of direct running to track back, maybe not quite there. Well, Barcelona have scored a third though. Victoria Pilsen 3-1 down. Napoli
score.
We're going to win the league. They were going to win that group anyway, but they're now 1 up at Anfield, so they're going to do it with a bit of style. They're going to do 6 out of 6.
Frightening.
6
What
wins
team,
out of
by the
6.
way.
Fantastic.
You
aren't
like them now, Mark, don't you?
I do. I just like the way you're saying go about their business. You know, the way they actually do the dirty side of the game as well. They've got bags of technical ability and quality on their side, but just the pace that they play it, the desire to run back. Top team. They'll end up getting beaten the last 16 and put it, but
Guaranteed.
they've been entertaining.
By Porto or
Yeah,
something.
something like that.
So
Yeah, it
sometimes
will
happens,
be.
doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I did notice, incidentally, Porto cruising through
2-0,
their group
3-0.
with the centre back of Fabio Cardoso. Remember him?
Amazing, eh?
Now I know that they had the whole Ryan Bowman elbow in the nose palaver against Motherwell in that semi, but even over and above that, Gordon, I think that would surprise a few Rangers fans that he's reached that level.
It certainly surprised me. I watched them many times when I used to bout and about at the games, Gordon, covering Rangers and Celtic most weeks, and yeah, look, different style of football again. That's maybe, you look at Bassey for instance, terrific talent, brilliant at Rangers, goes over to Ajax, coming in for a little bit of criticism, maybe just getting caught up with a different style of football, but obviously it works different ways as well, and he's certainly playing very well for Porto.
Yeah, a bit of a lull in play. I think Ajax have an injury or two, and I don't think did they make the change yet? I don't think so. Someone was limping over to the touchline. I think there was a sub getting ready. It might well have happened.
I think Klaasen's coming on. Yeah,
Klaasen coming on.
But I don't know if they've made it yet. So, wee opportunity for Rangers here to try and put some pressure on Ajax when they've got 10 men. Although they just put it out now. Ah, he's back on. Actually, it's Timber. Old Timber. Been resurrected.
Rangers trying to find little combinations, some triangles in that midfield. It's out to Sakala, who's looked bright, and I'll tell you what, he's
It's got to
just
be a booking.
he's
Is
just
it?
going to have drawn another booking. He's done well on that front. He's made 2 Ajax players bring him down, and both have been booked for it. He's been very positive, Gordon, going forward.
Yeah, I think that's the word for him tonight. I think he has been positive. Not been a lot created from him, but he certainly, when he gets on the ball, he's been positive. He's trying to have a go. Rangers just need to try and make a quality chance. Gets a goal that lifts the fans, lifts the players. Gives them a wee opportunity, something to go for. Ajax are now just in a comfort zone for me.
Rangers fans might be pleased to see Steven Berghuis going off, but Davy Klaassen is coming on. I always think Davy Klaassen looks more like somebody that would come and service your vending machine in your office.
He looks like a Davy,
than an elite football player.
A painter and decorator.
He looks like a Davy.
I wonder if he'll do
kinda
my
looking
doors.
at him.
Delicate ball
Oh,
into the
oh,
box,
that
but
was
the
a great
goalkeeper comes and gets it. Rangers thought they were getting in. It was a delicate little chip, I think, from Stephen Davis.
Yeah, good idea for Stephen Davis.
Oh, by the way, Napoli's goal has been taken off them, Mark. Hopeless.
Oh, hit the
much
correction
aside.
button.
Not much aside.
Well, they'll keep plugging away, won't they? But it was a good idea for Davis. Ajax backline charging out. He
Morelos,
fakes the
surely,
shoot.
come on. I'd be surprised if he doesn't look at Morelos coming on the next couple of minutes.
Oh, if he plays this and he's offside,
Oh,
what a
Rangers are in
pass that is.
trouble, and it's 3 to Ajax. They're waiting for the flag. It's not come yet. Kudus with his second. It was a devastating counter-attack from Ajax down that left-hand side again. The Rangers' right-hand side, very easy. Squared across, touch and finish. Alan McGregor, no chance. And my lip reading is pretty good.
He's not happy.
I know
is he?
what Giovanni Van Bronckhorst just
Yeah.
said. It wasn't Dutch, it was English. And
They've been cut wide open, Gordon. I kept saying it in the first half till I was blue in the face. Down this Tavernier side, it's too easy for me. Ball into the middle. I think he's onside. Yeah,
you never know. Sometimes you never know. They might draw those lines and it
But
might surprise you.
I'll tell you what, it's a clinical finish. It's a very composed finish. Just takes a touch, takes his
Mark,
time.
if it's onside, it's a terrific ball because it just teases.
It's off. That's it.
Oh, it's offside?
Yeah, offside.
No, it's not. It's 3-0.
What's happening here? Goal review. It says it looks like Rangers took that as a free kick. No goal yet. It was offside.
Offside.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, it's
VAR coming to the rescue. The scoreboard's not updated yet. It's still 2-0 to Ajax. There we are. The scoreboard. And Mark, that must have been incredibly tight. They've not shown it yet because I think in UEFA competitions now, the top ones, it's that sort of automated system.
Kudos, I think he's maybe right foot just
must be
ahead of
so
Leon
close.
King. But look, take it away. Van Bronckhorst's sitting on the bench, and you can lip read him. You can see the expression on his face. He is looking at his players, thinking, "This is basic stuff that you cannot get right." I mean, you look at Tavernier
coming off the pitch tonight because he's bringing on Wright. He's surely not going to take Sakala off.
Morelos, Wright and Kamara all coming on for Rangers, so there's a bit of a let off, and sometimes that can just spark something in you, because Rangers probably thought they were 3-0 down. VAR has had a look offside. We've not seen it yet with the lines drawn. We don't always get to see them, of course, and I think it is that automated sort of system, isn't it?
pretty quick, that one, eh? There's no messing of it.
We should see some sort of computer graphic at some point.
It was tight, there's no doubt, but Rangers will accept that. Substitution 3. It spells end for Cholak, one of the wide men. Surely it's
Can it be Sakala?
It's got to be Kent, surely.
Good ball that into the 6-yard line from Borna Barisic from the corner.
And Davis or Arfield?
Could be any. I don't think any of them could have a complaint. I think Tillman has been okay tonight.
Might we even
I think
see,
Sakala
is there any scope to see Morelos and Cholak on the pitch for a bit together?
I would
Changing shape,
I would like to see it.
Really positive run this from Fashion Sakala. 1-2, gets it back. It's going to be blocked at the edge of the box though. Tillman might just fancy it. Blocked again. You know, Ajax not scared to get everyone back and defend when they need to. And this is an impressive run up the pitch as well, and eventually crowded out. Good work. Talk about, Rangers criticised, but Davis and Tillman and Tavernier were all there.
I think Tillman's been Rangers' midfielder by a mile tonight. I think he's not been involved in a lot, but he's certainly worked his shift. You can't fault the lad for that. He's worked away there. He's done a job for the team. But it'll be interesting to see the 3 substitutions.
Sakala again tries to get to the byline. It's eventually stopped, but there's no doubt, Mark, he then snaps into the recovery tackle, puts it out for a throw in.
I think that's great
exactly
play.
the shift you're looking for, even although going back the way. Oh my.
We're seeing the offside.
The
It's
Ajax
toes,
the Ajax goal is offside by half
a foot,
half a football boot.
See if he'd have been a size 6, he's
on it.
He's on.
Now here's the thing.
Is it something to do with toes?
We don't have the automated one. I think maybe in the Scottish Premiership that might have stood. Now
really?
I'll be honest, I'm not going to commit to that 100%. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just trying to remember what I said a few weeks ago. Here it's the 2 lines get drawn, and if there has to be daylight between those lines, and if the lines overlap, so listen, who cares? The rules,
very tight.
The rules, the rule. It's offside. I'm just
very, very tight.
I think that's very difficult to take with half a foot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? If
it's offside, isn't it?
If you're born with your toes a little bit smaller, you're scoring. Unfortunately for the big toe players now, with the big feet, they're just not getting the benefit of the doubt.
Would you have been unfortunate? What have you?
My nose would have been offside.
Exactly.
I was waiting for that, Mark.
That's your disadvantage.
So Rangers make that triple change.
Who was the wide man, Kent?
No, Kent's still on. Tillman went off.
Tillman, Cholak, and who else? Davis.
I think it might have been Davis, because Arfield's still on there. Sakala's still on. Yep. So Cholak's off, Tillman's off, and Davis is off.
I'm surprised with Tillman. I think Tillman worked very hard.
So Kamara's at the base. You've got Wright where Tillman was, and you've got Morelos where
Tillman, Davis, and Cholak
is. Yeah.
Do you know what though? It's interesting how he splits opinion, because you don't get to look at social media in here, and I do. Malik Tillman's getting a lot of stick tonight for his performance as well.
I don't look. I think he's worked hard for the team, Gordon.
And funnily enough, that's the exact thing people are saying he's not done.
He's not done. I don't know what game they're
watching. That's strange.
There's confirmation bias in there.
Well, just when you.
This is nice from Ajax. They're into the box. Good block though from Borna Barisic.
I think just when you see some of the incidents that he's got back, the one in the first half, he nicks off the boy's toe in the box. Even in the second half, you've seen him scrapping away and going to a couple of tackles. There was a couple of occasions the first half as well.
He's not influenced the game going forward.
No.
I agree with if supporters are looking at that, but as much as putting a shift in, I think the boy worked hard enough that I didn't see him being substituted.
Victoria Pilsen are giving it a go. It's now 3-2 to Barcelona. in that game to determine who's got the poorest record in the Champions League this season.
So it goes to show you these teams can actually,
have a go at home.
Have a go at home, against one of the greats. Now, I know Barcelona isn't the Barcelona.
Yeah, I mean, they're not even going through either, are they?
But it still shows you that they can compete to a certain level. That's what I think will frustrate Rangers fans tonight. Have we seen anything? Have we seen the goalkeeper at Ajax make a save? Have we seen him come under any
63 minutes pressure? We're still waiting on the first Rangers shot on target.
That's poor. That's disappointing for me. If you look at the overall fixtures,
I knew that was coming.
What?
Morelos.
The foul?
You could just see Morelos. He was being passed round triangle for the Ajax goalkeeper and two centre halves, and he turned, and you could just see Timber. He was coming to push him in the back right away.
And Timber, right enough.
And Timber.
To be fair though, Morelos, it looked like he turned round and was then
giving stick to someone.
His teammates, as if to say, because he can't do that on his own.
No,
What's he meant to do? To press three different people?
Yeah.
And if he goes, he needs backup, doesn't he?
Of course he does. But you can see that Rangers are disjointed in their press. They're going in ones and twos.
Yeah, we've seen that right from the start,
There's
haven't
no
we?
cohesion between them.
It looks like they're caught a little bit between pressing and not, if you know what I mean. They're standing off at times. But
I said it in the first half. That must come down to the manager and the coaching team and the instructions. Whether they've gave them instructions, whether they're clear enough, whether the players are willing to carry it out. There's a whole host of things that could go wrong that's leading to this here. But it's not right, because it's neither pressing or sitting off. Ajax players look like they're loving playing this occasion. That shouldn't. I wasn't like that last season. Teams came in the Europa League. Teams didn't love playing at Ibrox. I mean, everybody made a big thing of it, that the crowd was hard to play against and the team was, so tight and didn't allow you any space. This is a total opposite. I think Napoli, Liverpool and now Ajax have loved coming to Ibrox in this term.
See, by the way, if you want to cough down the mic, you could just tell me and I'll put it off for a minute. And then
apologies, did you hear
absolutely disgusting.
It's fine, it's not a problem. Listen, it happens to us all. But if you give me the nod, I'll turn the mic off, and then the nation doesn't have to get surround sound of you.
Listen, I like to cheer. I like to share.
See if we're not well on come Thursday.
Who's using that mic muff tomorrow? Do we still have our
That's
own
my own
individual?
muff.
Yeah,
we
mate,
do.
chat.
Gordon Dalziel,
set it on fire.
102 is my code number.
Decent running ball in from Sakala. No takers though.
Well, he has been the bright spark for Rangers. I mean, he's been the most dangerous one at them. They get him the ball, at least he is running at range every time he gets it. I think Wrench knows he's in for a difficult second half here. He puts the ball across here and needs somebody in there. Worried to say, I'll be a free kick. What?
Yeah, free kick to Rangers in a dangerous position. There was actually two challenges. I'm not sure if it was the first or the second that was given.
It was a good run by Kent. Comes inside.
No,
I think
a foul.
that's a free kick.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a free kick. Gone.
Now it's
Tavernier.
a bit
Distance.
far. It's a bit far, isn't it, Mark?
This is about
that's 35 yards.
35 yards out. Central.
The only one I can remember Tavernier scoring this far, producer Callum won't like me reminding him, remember the one at Tannadice?
Yeah.
And it was outrageous.
Yeah, I think we all said the same that day.
That was
too far.
An outrageous free kick that day. Whether he fancies it again or not, we'll have to see. The problem is it's very straight, isn't it, Gordon? So if it's not a shot,
Yeah.
it needs to be something a bit more.
Yeah, I think from that distance, I think he's got to be special to beat this goalkeeper.
He is shooting
Yeah,
here.
it's definitely shooting
They need
range.
something to happen. They need a shot and goal. This could be it.
Is this Rangers shot on target?
It is.
Yeah,
It is, but it's
He could have chested that.
it's a
probably.
very easy take for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, didn't even threaten the lad's ponytail there. It's still in place.
I'd like to see you with a man bun.
I've not got enough hair at the back to
And
do
I'm well aware of that, but that's what I
Unless
mean.
I
You
go
could
to
get
Turkey.
you get the wee attachment maybe. You stick on one.
Yeah, I think that looks quite
Can you
smart.
imagine him?
You could put a bobble in that wee front bit and it sticks up. That would look quite fetching. Yeah.
Did you get, when you went big time on the TV on Sunday and forgot all about your old pals here, did you get any makeup put on? Or
Yeah.
I did, but
I thought you were looking a bit.
yeah, but I was the least amount of makeup from the full team,
Well,
and I didn't
it wouldn't be
need
hard to
topped
those
up.
two.
And That's your words, not
Come on.
mine. But I was quite pleased with that. You know, it's funny. Never had a guess I've had to put so little makeup on.
You're fresh faced
Just
compared to
kidding.
those two, surely.
I mean, imagine if this guy to the left of me went on. They wouldn't have a brush big enough for that nose.
Yeah, okay, Mark.
Be putting on
He's
with a mop
getting big time
on
now
that
because
nose.
he's on TV.
He's massive. He'll come in with Sky Sports, take it on next week. Guaranteed,
And he's
nothing
bought.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it myself. So the badge on.
Rangers are in behind. It's Scott Arfield. It's cut out though better.
Yeah.
The second half been better. Or
I
at
would
least
think so.
the
No, I
last
would-
15 minutes or so.
I would think so. It has been. If you're a Rangers fan, though, you want to see them troubling the goal or threatening the goal a wee bit more. They're getting into decent positions, especially down this right hand side. Sakala, that time it was Arfield. You want to see the balls in a wee bit more quality, especially now Morelos is on. A bit better from Kent there. Oh,
Runs
it's a
the
goal
ball
kick.
out of the park.
I thought it was a corner. A little bit better. He didn't turn back.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
what Sky
positive.
are paying the big money for. But it's more positive. But look, here's the argument if you're not involved with Rangers. Ajax are just playing at the pace they want to play. It happened in Italy last week when Napoli were cruising and then Rangers created a wee chance here and there. But I think there's still another goal in this for Ajax, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we thought it was 3 briefly, but VAR ruled a very tight offside call. But that's what it's there for. If it's offside, it's offside.
I know it was offside. It's amazing when you analyse.
Oh, that's very good from Sakala. Leaves his defender in his wake and then gives it to Scott Wright. So how are they sort of lining up on that side exactly?
Is
Scott Wright.
Is Scott Wright not just playing in behind the striker?
I thought he was playing where Tillman was playing
Yeah.
to start off with. He's found himself sitting there on the right. But Rangers are using this right hand side much better than they did in the first half. Sakala again proving a bit of a nuisance out there. And they just need to tidy it up. Rangers run about the box when they get these opportunities.
Well, it's the best period Rangers have had. They are 2 down and they've only had that one tame free kick on target. But it's definitely the best period they've had as Tavernier heads it back across. And I think it was Calvin Bassey again in the right place at the right time. Scott Arfield clips the top of the crossbar on 70 minutes. Again, Rangers putting on a bit of pressure. It is much better and they've got a corner.
It's much better.
Yeah, it's more livelier. I think the substitutions have made a decent impact. Arfield just having a go there. That's dipping
a
under
good
the
save,
bar.
huh?
Yeah, it's a good touch from the goalkeeper.
Good technique for Arfield because he has the swivel and you know catch into half volley. But this has been better. At least a period of sustained pressure here.
Yeah, good ball. Tavernier again headed away though.
Good header.
And it's the Rangers though managing.
Still alive.
It's amazing once you start getting a bit of momentum, you pick up all the second balls.
They just need an end product, Gordon.
Well, this is a very good run from Ryan Kent, twisting and turning and standing it up, but it's hitting off Rangers' shoulders and Ajax will come away. But yet again, Rangers keep it once more.
Yep, that's what they have to do. When it comes out, they have to be the first onto that second ball and just keep this alive. Ryan Kent's had a couple of good little jinking runs down that left hand side. But Van Bronckhorst will be pleased with us because at least they're pinning Ajax in a bit here.
You know how I told you the Napoli goal had been ruled out by VAR, and we're still getting to terms with it, aren't we? Our Scottish Premiership version, and everyone's moaning about how long it takes. Now, bearing in mind, this is the Champions League, and it's got that automated offside system, right?
Yeah.
Now it's either offside or it's not. It took 4 minutes to rule out that Napoli goal.
Oh.
4 minutes. Now, I'm not saying you're absolutely allowed to complain when things go wrong with our VAR, but again, we keep telling ourselves that we're somehow worse or whatever.
Was 4 minutes not the same as the Tottenham one
in
as
the
well?
Champions League.
But why could it take that long if it's automated as well?
I guess there's a few things to sometimes take into account, but
Yeah.
4 minutes.
Just watching here, Tavernier's got a sore one on his ankle, and you know there's no doubt the Ajax player certainly gets there first and knocks the ball just out of play. I think maybe the fall through from Tavernier, it's actually Tavernier who's trying to tackle him. It maybe just goes under him. I think so. Yeah, and
Trying
he's,
to see how Tavernier's ended up hurt there.
well, I'm trying to see if his ankles just went under him. I think he's just took a knock. Now, he's in a
I
bit of
didn't
pain,
see
by the
anything. I
way.
didn't see anything.
It
Maybe
just looks like a knock on the top of the foot, but as you say, that then wouldn't leave you in so much pain, I don't think.
Unless it's a pre-existing problem that
well,
you
funny
guys
that.
have said.
Yeah,
but
he's limping,
he's
but
limping
I
heavily.
think he'll be fine.
Yeah, it's one of those ones you just run it off, Gordon.
Get the sawdust on in your day.
Oh,
Were you one of those players like Tavernier there, the old socks up over the knees right up to the thighs?
Oh, come on. In the
Nah.
80s?
no, we didn't.
Oh, you
have-
didn't even have shin guards, did you?
Yes, we did.
Did you?
Was that not like a Thierry Henry phenomenon? That was like the first person I remember
Yeah, suppose so.
doing that.
Yeah. Would you have? No? If you were playing in these days?
No, well, no. I'd be very stylish. I still
I
have
think
a feather
I
cut.
disagree. I think you would have, honestly, if you were allowed, I think you'd have played in those big baggy tracksuit bottoms.
100%. I would have played in bottoms. Yeah, I never trained
Tucked in
once
socks.
in shorts.
Even in the summer.
Even the I
Oh,
hate.
come
Yeah,
on.
listen.
How horrible is that?
That is disgraceful.
Anybody will tell you it's about warming the muscles up.
There is nothing worse. I didn't see a
Absolutely
player like that.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Seriously, as a professional footballer in the
I
summer, you
wore-
would wear trackies
I
to
wore
train.
tracky
come
bottoms.
on.
We need to get a photo of that. Surely there must be photos of you training.
That is
I want to
so
see you.
bad. There is no need for that.
Big
What?
baggies with the old rugby shirt collar on, that kind
Oh,
of.
the
drill
rugby
top.
And
yeah.
the drill top.
The rugby shirt was
Sure.
a game changer for me.
Collar up, I bet you. Yeah. Just stereotypical.
I've seen you wearing shorts in the gym in your
I don't
latter
know.
years.
I don't know. I've given that up. I go with the tracksuit bottoms.
Are you in the gym with the tracksuit bottoms on?
Yeah.
I think even that's questionable.
No, it's not.
Unless you're a bodybuilder. You often see bodybuilders in with a big baggy
Well,
joggies
I've
on.
got the vest. I wear the tracksuit bottoms and the vest.
I'll wear a vest. And
I stick one of the fake tattoos on just to make me look
Yeah,
good.
it's quite the Rabsy Nisbet impersonation.
Rangers in trouble, are they?
Yeah, they've got loads of bodies back.
Good
Has
defender.
better defensively, loads of bodies, plugging the gaps, and Ajax nowhere to go. Much better that time. It's just, the disallowed goal, I was going to get back to that. It's amazing how similar it was to the first goal. Gaps. I even looked at Sands trying to get back. He looked like he was just ambling back and allowed, Tavernier to deal with the runner. So it's definitely problems that Rangers have got. I know it's not going to be the same at the weekend when they'll have Lundstrom back, won't they? He might be a bit more defensive in front of them. But Davis struggled when he's on. I think Kamara's done a wee bit better at plugging those gaps.
Yeah, Ajax now just go from range and it's over the top. There's not the same urgency from them anymore, is there?
No, they're comfortable, Gordon. They're comfortable with the way the game's going. Rangers were bound to have a spell where they sort of dominated at times, got any good positions. Once again, have they really, really troubled the goalkeeper? They're at home. They're a game that, they're trying to really be positive about, but they've not really troubled the goalkeeper.
It was good from Stephen Davis until Scott Wright gave it away.
Stephen Davis is on the bench.
Ryan Kent, sorry, my apologies.
That'll be Scott Wright.
Do you
You'll
know-
not see him for a long time now.
I did think that Stephen Davis was moving quite quickly there.
Yeah.
It was Ryan Kent, my apologies.
But you look at Ajax now, they're literally playing
At
at
their
walking
pace,
pace,
yeah.
and just, taking their time over things. They know the game's won, and
Oh, it's lovely
I
from
like
Lenny
that.
Kamara.
I'll be in soccer AM Saturday.
Very nice piece of skill down in the corner. But Ajax, they're still plugging away. But as the guys have said, it's not been done at a great tempo from them anymore. I think you can tell their fans are enjoying it though.
they're loving it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
bobbing
Glasgow.
about. Yeah, that'll keep them warm tonight.
Bayern Munich have gone 2-up on Inter Milan. Eric Choupo-Moting, who I've always just been fascinated by this guy's career, Mark, because he's the one that ends up at Stoke and moves to PSG and then Bayern Munich.
Really?
after. His agent must be doing wonderful things.
Wow, you wouldn't mind him as an agent, would you?
Imagine your last three clubs were Bayern Munich, PSG and Stoke. In fact, let's forget football for a second. Let's just think about your personal life. Imagine living in Stoke and then moving to Paris.
Well, the good thing about Stoke is there's Alwyn Towers not in there.
Ah,
Yeah.
brilliant,
You could be
yeah.
down there, get a yearly pass. Yeah,
Nice place, Stoke. I've passed it many times.
that's
It's
not,
not
that's
nice though,
horrible.
is it?
I've never been in Paris.
Well, it's nicer than Stoke.
Well, I don't
Never
know.
been to
I've
Paris and
never
you're
been-
60-year-old.
I've never been to Paris, unfortunately. I'm not one of these.
And you've had 3 wives.
Yeah, I'm not
And
one.
you've never been to Paris.
Have you never heard this?
Well, the common denominator is I've had 3 wives. I've never been to Paris.
Amongst his many quirks, remember, he doesn't like holidays.
Oh, that's
You've
right,
forgotten
yeah,
about this.
Can't be bothered with that.
Things that nobody ever. I'm not sure I've ever met anybody who doesn't like. I mean, I get people maybe scared of flying or like actively, don't feel comfortable leaving the country. I might get that, but I've never heard anybody say that they just don't like. Everybody loves holidays.
You know what
apart
he
from
told
you.
me? He hates about them, like the organised kind of day that you have. I hate like going down for breakfast and you feel like you need to go to the beach, then it's a bit of lunch, then maybe up to the room, get ready, and then dinner. And I was like, well, that's great.
But honestly, like if you met somebody new, which I'm sure you do many times a week, and you were on a very general basis running through your likes and dislikes, you would say, I don't like holidays.
No, I don't think I'll ever be in another holiday unless it's to play golf. There you go.
Well, before you die, you've never been on another holiday.
No chance.
That is
Absolutely
unbelievable.
no chance.
What a way to live your life.
You do a lot of weird things, right? But see, from that might be top of the list for
Why?
me. Because it's hot, like it's such a broad brush as well. Holidays can be whatever you
My
want them
days
to
of the
be.
speedos and the flip flops are gone.
Yeah, but that's the
Thank
thing.
God.
That's
Thank goodness
the
for
thing.
that.
Right there, towel wrapped round, away you go. I cannot be
That's
bothered with
a
it.
beach holiday. Other holidays are
Like
available.
what? Describe one.
City breaks.
City
hate
breaks,
city
Paris.
breaks.
We've just been
Hate
discussing
city
Paris.
Been to Edinburgh. I get married in Edinburgh. That didn't turn out well. Cities haven't been good for me.
What?
Oh, but it's take a wee bit of culture, no?
No, I don't
The
like
Alps.
culture. I don't like sightseeing and all that
No, I'm not
nonsense.
surprised.
I
What do you
did when
like,
I
just
went to
golf?
Liverpool, see the statue of the Beatles. There you go. I'm
Incredible.
not into that nonsense.
Ah, well, that's a shame because for your 61st we all chipped in to get you a trip to Dubai, but we need to take it back now.
So what even could we even tempt you into a golfing holiday with maybe a couple of days sightseeing?
If I went 5 days, I'd need to play 5 days golf.
So is that a no then?
Weird, isn't it?
Why? It's
just
my
is.
passion. It's something I love.
I know, but you do go. You play golf every day
But do you
here.
ever feel like there is such a big world out there to be
Nah,
explored?
There's nothing out there for to excite me.
Nothing.
Nothing. Not
What a sad existence.
I know.
Nothing.
There must be something in the world you look at and think, I wish I could go and see that.
No, absolutely
Genuinely,
not. Genuinely
you're not
not.
playing up to this.
No, genuinely not.
I actually believe that.
No.
It's true.
That's sad.
You are miserable.
I'm sorry. That
Is
is
it
sad.
You're
sad?
one of the most miserable humans.
There must be somewhere
I've
out
seen-
there that excites you. And you think, well, I would like to experience that.
Like what?
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
You decide.
I've
How
been-
about it, like Barbados,
Las
or-
Vegas, New York, Tokyo.
Oh, Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Oh, you'd like Tokyo?
You been to Tokyo?
No.
There
He's
you go.
been everywhere because of his illustrious football career.
Yeah.
Remember?
Listen,
Right,
this
it's
guy
a
goes
jet
and
setter.
walks up hills and gets a thrill. That ain't for me. Everybody to their own thing.
That's,
I think we need a full show dedicated to
I
this.
know, because there's so many talking points.
We need, right, producer Callum, write this down. We need a travel expert. We need a psychologist, quite clearly.
Judith Chalmers.
We need a
Wish you were here.
psychologist for sure. Try to think what else we needed. Those two for starters, if you can.
We need a travel agent to
Travel
offer
agent,
him
yeah.
to offer him a free trip
I wouldn't
so
be-
that he turns it down.
I would only go if I was playing golf, Mark. That's my life now. I'm sorry. I'd like to apologise to all the countries I've not visited.
There are
Go
a
and
few
see their
variations.
sightseeing.
You've heard of an idiot abroad, haven't you? Well, I'm sure we could put a different word in there. We could do our own.
By the way, that's
Our
a
own
show
version.
right there. You just sent him.
I think you two would be great because you're the polar opposite. You're one of these get up and go. If there's an organised activity to be done,
Oh, you'll be there.
you will do it.
100% I'd be there.
I think you two, couple of GoPros, off you pop.
But he would just ruin the experience. He
That
would,
would
for
be the
me.
funny bit.
I just don't know what to say to you.
I think it's now at least 7 minutes since we discussed the game.
I know
That
the
tells
game's
you everything you need to know.
The game's peter now.
Yeah, it has a bit.
I think both teams now. I think Rangers, like, if they get a consolation, they'll be delighted. But they've not been embarrassed, which it could have been, because the first half, the evidence, and then the third goal goes for them with the VAR check. I think Bassey's
That's
played
nice for
very
Bassey.
well tonight. I think he's cut out some.
I just saw a tweet there saying that the Napoli player Ostigard was basically, when you show the diagram, his ear was offside. Sort of, it's like the side of his head. That's all it is. Just sort of down the side.
That's where it's
See, I
getting
don't like
ridiculous.
that.
It's
Body-
getting ridiculous.
Yeah, but
But like I say, I'm not sure, and someone can correct me. Fine, I've been wrong many times before. I think that goal, even the Rangers, the Ajax one, probably / possibly stands in the Scottish Premiership.
I think it's a bit unfortunate, Gordon. I really do. I think because you've got big feet or
Big ears.
big ears.
A bit of a let off for Rangers there. It was a header over the bar. We've not seen much of Ajax recently. They don't seem bothered. They know the game's won, but the cross came in. Alvarez just picked his moment, just waited and eventually got his head on it, and probably should have done better.
That's a good
Should've.
chance. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good chance, Mark.
Ryan Kent is going off to be replaced by Alex Lowry, I think. Good experience, I
Is there another
suppose.
sub coming, Matondo as well?
Maybe I've made that up then. I thought I saw Alex
No, I
Lowry's
think there's
number.
two
think you're
subs
right,
coming
Gordon.
on.
Yeah,
Arfield, yeah.
for-
You're right, Gordon.
Yeah.
And Rangers fans will be pleased to see Lowry
Yeah, a bit of
getting a
Champions
chance.
League experience, albeit 2-0 down and 7 minutes to go. Here's the one thing, whilst we're on the subject of changes. We had this argument about whether he should start the game, and whether he should start at the weekend and last week, and certainly against Dundee, with 10 minutes to go of a dead rubber. Why, and you're 2-0 down, why is James Tavernier being allowed to hobble around Mark Wilson? 10 minutes. It's dead rubber.
I know.
Literally nothing to play for now. Rangers.
Oh my goodness.
And Alfredo Morelos is in here. Oh, and he's missed. It's a sitter for Alfredo Morelos. He robbed the goalkeeper. He pressed the goalkeeper and he robbed him, but he was then off balance and he screwed his shot wide.
Oh, I mean, what an opportunity. You're never going to get a better opportunity.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think he has to take it that early as well. Now, he does well to close the
goalkeeper's
goalkeeper down.
done.
He's still got to score. He doesn't get enough swivel, if that makes any sense, to, he doesn't get his body round enough to get it on target. He's almost off balance. He puts it by the post. It's an open goal.
But Rangers' biggest chance, well, in fact, he missed one actually in Naples, didn't he? I was going to say it's possibly Rangers' biggest chance of the campaign, but he maybe passed up a better one or a similar one.
It just sums up the night. They can't even take the gift that was given to them. You would expect Morelos to put that in the back of it. You can make excuses, and Mark's right about swivelling round and everything, but centre forward, if you're asked if I'll give you that opportunity to score a goal, you'd be over the moon with it. Give him that another 10 times and he'll put it in the back of it.
Here we go. Here's Rabbi Matondo. He's into the box. What a turn of pace this is. That's going to be a penalty to Rangers. Yes, and the referee points to the spot. So a chance to get a second goal on the board in the group. Napoli are 1 down now to Mo Salah. But that's brilliant from Matondo. That's what he was brought on for. Great turn of pace.
Oh, I don't know if that's a penalty.
I totally agree. The
Is that
ball's
going to
away.
VAR?
The
Yeah, well,
ball's
it will do. I mean, but is it a clear and obvious error? Is that going to be enough to be overturned? The ref's got a pretty good look at that.
the ball's well away from. He's not getting on the end of that ball, and I think the defender just puts himself between the ball and the player.
Do we often see something like that? That when you see the replay, I think for me clearly that's not a penalty. I think the angle the ref's at, seen it in real time, I thought that's a Stonewall penalty. You see it from behind Matondo. I think he goes down before he's even past Alvarez.
It's going to stand, I think, certainly.
Tavernier go the same way. The goalkeeper's right.
Yeah, he missed it the weekend, didn't he? But
At
he's
the
generally quite reliable.
Down the middle.
We were asking if he should have been taken off because he's hobbling about, but I'm sure he'll be fit enough to take the spot kick.
He's got to score this, surely.
Hopefully there'll be no encroachment drama like there was against Napoli. Don't have time for that. But James Tavernier is going to step up. Shuffled run up, and he sends the keeper down low. He goes down the middle, and it's Rangers 1, Ajax 2. There's at least a goal on the board.
Yeah.
Can they mount an unlikely comeback here now and get a point?
I don't think so, but I'll tell you what, it's not the greatest penalty I've ever seen in my life.
I think anyone that hits the net like that, it's a very deliberate thing you see now from players, Mark, isn't it? They can almost wait, or they go down the middle.
I think he must be looking at the goalkeeper to see him move. I think his mind's made up, and the only decision is whether to put it to the right side down the middle or the left side. The goalie goes to his left, so Tavernier puts it to the goalie's right
Doesn't
down the
matter.
middle.
It's a consolation goal for Rangers, for the fans at the end there. Could they go and change the full outlook of this game, get a draw? I don't think they will, but I think they'll be pleased with the goal, and doesn't matter. The referee and official thought it was a penalty kick. I look at it from the behind, as Mark said. I think the defender just cleverly plays his cell in between the ball and Matondo, who's never getting to that ball in a million years. But well done to him. Positivity. Take him on. That's what I say tonight. That's the motto for the Rangers wingers.
So we might have an exciting finish to this one. You never know, because the game had, in all honesty, died a death a little bit. Ajax didn't seem too fussed. Rangers had been better, and it looked like it would just finish 2-0. But a run from Matondo, a penalty awarded, and a James Tavernier goal means you never know. Maybe we'll get an exciting finish and Rangers will get a point on the board.
Yeah, and I know Matondo's only on. He came on at Anfield, am I right? And he made a positive impact, but then, you know, it's too hit and miss from him again about selection. Rangers hunt this ball back well, actually. They've won it back high up the pitch here.
I think the substitutions have made a very good impact. That's a good ball, that.
Great ball.
Yeah, Ajax are in. I wonder if he's just overdone it. And it's a goal for Ajax. It's Rangers 1, Ajax 3. As quick as you like. Rangers thought they had a brief chance of getting something, and they've been put back to that 2-goal deficit. It was a devastating counter-attack into the box, chopped back and dispatched to finish beyond Alan McGregor. Rangers 1, Ajax 3.
They give the ball away cheaply in the middle part and have been absolutely punished. The ball splits the full Rangers defence there. Tell you what, great composure with the lad. It's a good ball, great weighted ball.
Again, I've not seen an angle to suggest whether there's any offside. I don't think so. It was a brilliant pass.
Yeah, it's a great pass, but like, I'm going to have a go at the Rangers backline again. When you see the gap between King and Sands, it's almost like,
I don't even know where Sands is, to be honest.
He tracks someone else, but you can't be dragged out wide there and leave that gap. And King's exposed, and it's played inside him, and Barisic is never getting round. Boy does well actually to chop back, because I thought the chance had gone, and put it away. But just the gaps, it just shows you Ajax have been kind of playing within themselves. As soon as Rangers score, they go, okay, let's be careful here, let's score again. And it's been a poor end, and Rangers fan thinking they might get back in it, might have a bit of a flurry at the end. Well, stadium is just emptying as we speak after that third goal.
Yeah, it's still got a bit of an end-to-end finish to it. Morelos is up the other end and trying to make something happen, but his pass is really poor and sends Tavernier scrambling back.
Yeah, I think that everybody concerned will be disappointed with that, because they were given that sort of encouragement. But I think it's either Scott Wright or Lowry loses the ball in the middle of the park, and within 2 or 3 passes the ball's in the back of the net. That's the quality you're dealing against. I've got to give the lad credit. I was with Mark. I thought the chance had gone, but terrific just to, is it chop inside, Mark?
Chop, yeah.
Yeah, he just chopped.
That's what they call it nowadays.
He chopped inside and just buried it into the far corner. McGregor no chance, and certainly game over now.
I wonder what Van Bronckhorst's taking this will be, because he came out after the game against Napoli last week and said, you know, much better in the second half and we'd created much more chances. I think it's quite obvious Ajax have just been within themselves and quite happy. Rangers been a bit better in the second half, but still defensively so poor.
Is it going to be right in that slight middle ground of, you know, obviously not good enough, you're getting absolutely no praise for this and you'll get criticism, but it's not disastrous? Is that it? Does it just rumble on now? You do just park it?
Do you know, a lot of the Rangers fans will just look at it and think, right, okay, we're out of Europe, glad that's behind us, let's try and concentrate on chasing Celtic. But tonight has been a difficult one, because I'm not having a dig at the 2 centre halves, because it was always going to be a very difficult shift for them tonight. But their position play has been absolutely shocking.
4 minutes added on. It could have been a useful 4 minutes. It looked like maybe that Rangers had set up an exciting finish to try and get their first point on the board, but that sucker punch has done them, and it's Rangers 1, Ajax 3. So wouldn't expect a huge deal of urgency from the Dutch side as we go into this period of added time. In fact, we're almost halfway through it. Remember, I say it all the time, it is a minimum of 4 minutes, so you may well run beyond depending on what happens between now and then. The Ibrox stands emptying for sure. Don't forget, you can give us a call on the lines and let us know what you've made of it, Rangers fans. It's that time to really sum up the group and look back on it all and pick our way through what's gone wrong tonight, because quite a lot's gone wrong again, unfortunately.
Certainly has. I mean, you look at the goals conceded by Rangers overall in this group stage, they've been shocking. When I pick them apart, when you look at them all, has there been many that you would go, wow, that was a wonder goal? I'm thinking of the 7 from Liverpool, the 4 from Napoli, then away to Napoli, and then here. Has there been any that you'd go, like we looked at Celtic last week against Shakhtar Donetsk and we went, wow, that's what a 70 million player gives you. I'm not sure we could pick that many goals like that against Rangers in this campaign. I think they've all been, well worked by good players, but it's been too easy to play through them. And I think that's what Van Bronckhorst will take away from it. 6-7 months ago in the Europa League,
Mark,
was not like that.
If you go into group stages against top quality teams, and let's be honest, they have had that very difficult journey. 22 goals in 6 games. You ain't going to do anything. And the one thing in Europe, I think, if you're Rangers and teams like that, you've got to be really hard to break down and then take your chances at the top end of the pitch. Rangers have been too easy in this campaign to cut open. You never thought for 1 minute they would get a clean sheet at any time.
The bright spot has easily been Fashion Sakala as he slices one somewhere down Paisley Road West. But
that's just taking a car out now, mate.
It was a great run before
and
that,
he has
and
been the bright
positive.
spark. But that's kind of sums up Fashion Sakala.
Yeah.
Positive, quick, bustles his way through. Nice little chop inside, goes onto his left foot on the angle, and it's almost went out for a throw-in. It's that wild. So he lacks a finesse at the top end of the pitch, but I think he can hold his head up tonight. No, pointing the finger at him for the second goal, tracking the runner, going forward, much better.
Full time
at Ibrox. Let's speak to Gabriel. Get your calls in, please.
Full time here, Rangers 1, Ajax 3. First half goals from Steven Berghuis and Mohamed Kudus gave the hosts a comfortable lead before a late James Tavernier penalty gave the Gers a brief glimmer of hope, but substitute Francisco Conceição ensured the game was beyond their reach. And it means that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's worst fears are realised. His Rangers team end the group stage with no points and just 2 goals to their name, and with a minus 20 goal difference, they've set a new record as the worst ever performance in the competition. And it was the worst possible start for the Gers. They were behind after just 4 minutes. Steven Berghuis put Ajax ahead. The ball bounced into Mohamed Kudus, who just rolled it back to Berghuis. A left-footed side finish into the ground and left Alan McGregor stranded. The Rangers rallied though, and they had much more pressure on the ball than previous games. They kept the ball quite well and had sustained periods of pressure. In the 13th minute, they should have been level. Ryan Kent, who'd been bright all night, beat his man, cut the ball back to Fashion Sakala in the air. Headed it, looked like it was going in, but anyone but Calvin Bassey, of all people, was there to head it off the line. But Ajax, you have to say, was so dangerous, and they made Rangers pay again just before the half-hour mark. It was 2. The Gers again failed to match runners defensively. The ball was cut back from the byline. James Sands stood off Kudus, who fired the ball at Leon King, and the deflection took it past McGregor. The belief did look like it was starting to wane, and Rangers went back into their shell a bit, sat off the ball, and it really should have been 3 or 4 before the interval, with Bergwijn and Tadic both missing huge chances. The second half started in the same fashion. Kudus thought he had his second and a third of the game after a brilliant move that cut Rangers open down the right-hand side yet again, although the VAR showed that Kudus was half a boot offside. Rangers' best effort in the second half up till then was from Scott Arfield. He had a left-footed effort volley after 70 minutes. It clipped the top of the crossbar, pushed on there by Vermeer. Then Alfredo Morelos tackled the goalkeeper after it came on. He had an open goal, but he was off balance and somehow pushed the shot wide. Substitute Ravi Matondo made a difference. He was fouled after bursting through the defence, and captain James Tavernier duly converted the penalty. It gave a glimmer of hope that perhaps they could rescue a point, their first point in the Champions League, but no, that was taken away from them by Francisco Conceição, who cut back onto his strong foot and bent it past the keeper on the counter-attack. Now, Rangers were not terrible. They put in a lot of effort, but they were so poor at the back yet again. And at this level, you are made to pay. They now have the unwanted tag of the worst team in Champions League history. And the team had some boos as they went off the tunnel, although they were not as loud as the half-time ones. Full time on Rangers Champions League campaign. It is Rangers 1, Ajax 3.
Right, Rangers fans, what did you make of that? It was about trying to save face, get a point on the board, maybe 3, and then maybe the absolute miracle, the scoreline that would have seen you clinch third place. I think most people knew that was unlikely, but it was another defeat, a 3-1 defeat, bottom of the table, and as Gabriel says, it's the worst record in Champions League group stage history. It was obviously a tough group. I know some of you have been focusing on that in recent weeks, but overall, where did it go wrong tonight? Where's it gone wrong in the group? Talk to us. That's what we're here for. It was the reason we stayed on till 11 o'clock for all these Champions League games. We would rather have been celebrating with our Scottish clubs. It's not been the way. So how do you sum it up, Rangers fans? How do you feel tonight? 0141 951 1025. We'll speak to you next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Luker's Jaguar, the new name for Taggarts. The same friendly faces and great service with a new name above the door. Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Luker's Jaguar, the new name for Taggarts. The same friendly faces and great service with a new name above the door. This is Rangers versus Ajax. Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
It finished at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Ajax 3, bottom of the table, and a very poor, in fact the poorest of Champions League group stage records for Rangers fans. How do you sum that one up? Sum it up tonight, sum it up overall. Where did it go wrong? Massive injury list, of course, and selection difficulties. How much of that can be brought into play tonight? Who let you down? Who were the bright sparks? What do you make of the manager? There's so much really to get through, and that's just tonight. That's before we look back on the campaign as a whole. So pick up the phone, 0141 951 1025. Mike in Edinburgh, how do you feel?
Hi Gordon, I called last week, thanks for having me on. I'm just absolutely scunnered with this Rangers team. Giovanni needs to go. I was just talking up there, Gordon. We're speaking to 22 goals in a Champions League campaign, and Giovanni, during the Ajax, before the Ajax game in Holland, he told the players they couldn't compete, and that's went to their heads. Now, you know, he needs to take some responsibility for that, and I just think there's a rot setting at the club. I mean, we've got 5 defenders injured. And, you know, we've got about 20, and there's 12 players out injured just now. I mean, that's £20 million worth of talent. You know, I don't know where, you know, Ross Wilson's picking these guys up from. I mean, there must be something going on behind the scenes, and whether it's the conditioning or the training regime, why so many players are picking up injuries. I think that you've got a lot of calls tonight, Gordon, like I called last week. I've just had enough. Giovanni needs to go. He needs to carry the can for this. I just think the whole club needs gutted, honestly.
How does he carry the can for all the injuries though, Mike, if that is playing such a big part?
Not the injuries, Gordon, but he's sitting telling the players he can't. He's telling the players he can't compete. I mean, that's went to them mentally. You know, that's very, very ill-fated remarks. You know, you'd say, yeah, the players are probably not technically good enough, but just provide a bit of effort application, and there's been absolutely none from the Rangers team at all. I mean, Kent's down tools. Morelos is overweight. I mean, I mentioned this last week. You know, there's no, you know, Ajax out of possession. They're chasing the ball down, and you know, Ajax. I think they've run a higher distance than what the Rangers players did. There's just no effort off the ball, Gordon, to try and retrieve the ball. You know, there's just no effort at all to me, and to score 2 goals out of 6, it's just absolutely dreadful. You know, it's just completely, utterly unacceptable to create a new unwanted Champions League record. Yeah, I'm well aware that they do, like Napoli and Liverpool, are much better than this, but you know, I expected at least something of, you know, a point at least. You know, the fans went in tonight quite optimistic, and the club's fleeced the fans at 180 quid for 3 matches, Gordon, in a Champions League package. It's from top to bottom. The fans have just had enough. So I don't know what Gordon or Mark think, but it's just absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, I don't think Mike will be alone in his thoughts. I think the campaign has been disastrous, Gordon. Although you can argue top teams in there, let's not be kidded. Yeah, the manager can't take the blame for the injuries. I felt tonight, Sands and King, and look, King's a young player, up and coming. He'll be a terrific talented boy, but he needs a bit of leadership in there. Sands is a midfield player. Tavernier's not in the best of form. Barsic in front, they were getting no protection. Cholak showed absolutely nothing up top. I think the overall campaign is, I totally agree. I think that the manager sets the tone. I think if the manager looks back at his comments, as much as deep down inside, and he's maybe in the room with staff saying, look, we're under severe pressure here to compete at this level, you do not come out and publicly air that. Let the players hear that, because that does get into the mind that, the manager doesn't think we're good enough to play at this level. This year and last year, they're completely a different outfit, and the manager has got to take responsibility. Will he be replaced? No, he won't.
What do you make, Mark? The main criticism Mike has of the manager really is the mentality, the message, that you know, those comments about being unable to compete. Is that valid, or is he just telling the truth?
Look, he's telling the truth. There's no doubt about that in terms of the gap in quality, and he may feel that. I 100% agree with Daz in terms of Van Bronckhorst sets the tone for his team. How are you going to feel as a player? And you're sitting there after that game, you've just been thumped 4-0, and you know, you'll go on your phone and you'll read what the manager said, because you're always interested to see what the manager says. I played with a manager, Gordon Strachan, used to always say, even when we were outclassed, even when we were hopeless, he would come in and tear strips off us. But I tell you what he said. He says, I'll protect you out there, I'll take the flak. And he always did. You'd read his comments and you go, wow, he's took it in the chin for us. And you respected that, because you then went and put an effort in for him next game. Now, if I was reading my manager saying, can I compete at this level, and I've got another 5 games to go against quality opposition, that's almost like an excuse for me. And I think that's coming across. I
don't think it is an excuse for the players. I think that Van Bronckhorst says it for an excuse for himself, because I think he realises when he looks at that group, he will find it very difficult. So what he's doing is putting that message out there to the supporters. Look, we're not at this level. So, you know, whatever comes ahead, we'll just have to accept it.
But who wants to hear that? The supporters don't even want to hear that.
I totally agree. I think it's the wrong message to send out, and I think he sets a tone. But then after that, the players have got to take responsibility. Matt, there's no substitute for work rate. You should not be getting outrun nearly every game you're playing in this Champions League.
Do you feel like in many ways last season has proven to be problematic in terms of the expectations of the fans versus the manager, because as the guys have all covered, it's just true. It's just simply true. They don't have the money, they can't compete financially. But we're talking about the Europa League finalists here. You know what? And I know the Champions League's harder, of course it is. But you beat Dortmund, you beat Leipzig, you're a penalty kick away from winning the Europa League. Is that the bit that doesn't quite fit when you then just sort of brush it all off and say, we can't compete?
This is Giovanni's team now. Last season, I think he still played a bit of the Gerrard way, just tweaked it a little bit, and I just think the players that we've lost in the summer haven't been replaced. I mean, we've got a left back that can't even get a game for the team. I mean, $4.5 million, Yilmaz, you can't get. Yes, I know he's injured, but the last bit throughout the season, he wasn't an automatic starter. I just think this season, Gordon, something's not right at the club, and I think it's transferring onto the pitch. I don't know whether there's boardroom shenanigans. I don't know what's going on. Ross Wilson's been very silent on the situation to leave Giovanni to take the flak in the press. He needs to go as well. I think there needs to be a complete and utter overhaul. I think we are now at a stage where we've reached we're at the end of the road now, and I think there needs to be a complete and utter revolution, like what happened to Neil Lennon, as well from Mark being a Celtic supporter. He'll know what we're going through now, and I think there needs to be a complete and utter change. But I don't think just now is the time to do that. I think that will need to happen at the end of the season. But something's completely wrong. We got the Europa League final, at the end of last season, and we're within a whisker of winning that, but we didn't. And at least because we competed in the Champions League, which is probably harder, going through two qualifiers. And I thought it would maybe be promising, but it's just completely fell flat, Gordon. And I don't know what Mark and Gordon think about that. There's something going on at the club.
The Super Scoreboard podcast is sponsored by Taggart's Motor Group. Taggart's have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. And as Taggart's are part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchise dealer groups in the UK, you can browse thousands of nearly new and used vehicles in stock nationwide to find your perfect vehicle. They've also launched Click and Sell. It makes selling your car simple by using their trusted dealer network of over 150 sites. Why not give it a go today? See how much you could make on your old car. Taggart's have Land Rover showrooms in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showrooms found in Hillington. Check out taggarts.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now let's get back to the podcast. Mark, I think see when you can see where Mike's frustration comes from, because see when you go through these games individually, is it that surprising that Rangers lost home and away to Napoli? Not really. No. Is it not? In fact, not at all. Is it surprising they lost home and away to Liverpool? No. Is it that surprising they lost home and away to Ajax? No. But that's when you take it in isolation. If you're looking at a 6-game campaign, no matter what the budget situation is, it's understandable, is it not, that Rangers fans would think, look, surely we can get a point on the board. Surely we can even get a bit of good fortune in a game, or even lay a glove in a few games. And that, I guess that's why you have to draw a distinction between taking each game individually, and it's not surprising they lost them. But as that 6-game package, could you have offered more than 0 points and minus 20 goal difference? Of course you could, and especially coming off the back of what you achieved last season in some tough places. But Mike makes a good point. £180 Rangers charged their fans to come to the home games. That's allowed them to see 13 goals against them and 2-4 and some heavy beatings. Now you can't tell me that cannot be improved on. Of course it can. You can't say that the running stats that we've been chatting about for the last couple of weeks cannot be improved on. I think it was pretty clear in the naked eye to see the intensity, the pace, the distance Ajax could cover compared to Rangers tonight. And I think you even take that back to the Liverpool game. Probably the only one that stands aside is the Napoli game at home, where for 45 minutes Rangers probably put in arguably their best performance in those 45 minutes, or maybe even up to an hour before it went pear-shaped. But when it did, everybody went under with it. There was nobody there to stand up, and that is
I think where Mike's getting at. There's a
Where there's
disconnect
no-
between
where-
the manager and the players.
Where there's no excuse, Mark, is especially at home. You cannot be outrun.
Yeah, I think it was 4 kilometres again. I know. Look, these stats aren't for everyone.
I know, but
I'll leave it. I'll just offer that out there. People can then read into that what they like. I'm offering it without comment. 118 kilometres to 114.
I think if you look at the overall campaign, there was not any time, and Mark touches on a point with Napoli first 45 minutes. Yeah, okay. There was not any point, and we've watched every game, that I thought Rangers were going to get anything or keep a clean sheet.
How does that make you feel, Alan, in Alloa?
Hello there. Thanks for having me on, gentlemen. It's true what the boys are saying there. I'm disillusioned tonight there. I honestly believe today we're going to get a draw or even win the game today to try and get some reflection back for what we've suffered for the last few weeks there. It's been a bad campaign comparison to what 6 months ago in a Europe final, and then all of a sudden this time, I know we've had a lot of injuries, but I was trying to agree with the guy that was on the first time about Gio saying that we're not good enough at the start of the campaign. 2 or 3 times we're not good enough, and then today was in the papers we're not good enough to compete in that. That must get into the mindset of the players. It gets into the mindset of the fans as well. Now, we've paid a lot of good money. I've been going to Ibrox for all these years now, and I've paid a lot of money. I paid a lot of money for the 3 package deal there, and the season ticket holder. But the fact is that we've got nothing out it there. There's nobody that really shined tonight there. I don't know. Once it went 1 goal down, the heads went down. Yes, as I said, we've had bad injuries at the back there. I don't know what's happening with these injuries, what training is happening there. It must be something like the old series used to be on the TV, MASH, with all the players lying injured. I just don't know what's going wrong, and I think maybe now that Gio maybe can't handle this, maybe it's time to move on.
He's never going to live these comments down for some of the Rangers fans. Like, some out there might want to come on and defend it because you'll say, well, he was just telling the truth. You know what I wonder about it, Mark? The intention is obviously a good one, and you can see it. It's meant to temper the expectations so that the criticism isn't too much, right? So it's meant to temper the expectations. I suppose a lot of Rangers fans, though, like Alan, are saying, well, we're not daft. We know Liverpool and Napoli are way out with our budget, and we know that getting anything against them is very unlikely. But what you can still do then is you can still try and be competitive in those matches, and then if you do lose, fans aren't daft. Fans will hold their hands up at that point and say, do you know what, just fell a bit short there. Like, we gave a count, but look, and then allow them to say we're not on the same financial budget. Well, you know, does it need to be pointed out by the manager on match day 1? I think that's where Alan's coming from.
I think you don't have to look far to see the opposite, what's happening at Celtic and the way that their manager is handling it, that he's not using that as an excuse. He's saying we'll go at them. Now, we've seen the reaction for the Celtic fans. They've been beaten, you know, and they're finished bottom of their group, but they're coming on, yeah, as a process. I like how Ange Postecoglou isn't changing. We're going at teams. If we lose, we lose. Yet, another side, the Rangers fans they're not interested in excuses. They're not interested in, oh, we're here, but by the way, strap yourselves in because we're going to get absolutely thumped every week. You cannot come out and say these things. Dad's made a good point. If you think that and you're sitting with your staff going, wow, we've not added enough to our squad here to compete at this level, you keep it in-house. You know, there's other the Rangers fans, I think, would have much more respect and much more time for him had he done that, and had he come out after each game and said, look, the quality was there for all to see, we weren't at it, this, that, the next thing, but we can't compete in day 1. They will always come back and haunt you.
Here's the thing though, Alan. Look, if the Champions League was always going to be tough, and if domestic football was the bread and butter, and if Saturday there was better and Rangers are still only 4 points, you know, if Gio was still the man this morning, is a 3-1 defeat against Ajax enough to change that?
I think so. It's his attitude. Yes, we had a good game on Saturday there. It was one of the best games of the season, but that kind of just papered the cracks there. Champions League, yes, it was a lot at stake there. Big name here. But the fact is that when he starts going on about the fact that we're in a different league altogether there, we've no chance against all the big teams. We've got to be positive be quietly, not publicly there, and that kind of hurts the fans, it hurts the players there, and that must be in the mindset. We've got 3 games coming up before the break, and we have to win those 3 games to stay in competition. We lose any of those games or drop points, we can say goodbye to the league there, because we're going to be struggling, and it's going to be quite sad there for the rest of the season, because it's only the start of November there. Hopefully, if we get maximum points in the next 3 games, injuries get healed up during the World Cup time there, and get the team back to a blend for where they were before, because I can't believe we're not the same team we were 6 months ago.
Interesting stuff, Alan. Thank you for sharing it with us tonight. That was Alan, I think, heading back from the game. Matt is a Rangers fan from Pollock. Sum up your feelings, Matt.
Oh, disappointed, but I think there's got to be a reality check here. You look at that team out tonight. A boy 18 playing centre half, a boy at midfield playing beside him, right? They're all going about Van Bronckhorst when he gets shot. What difference is somebody else coming in the new going today? See, if I was criticised at my job, my manager criticised me. What's the first thing you do? I'm going to prove him wrong. I'm going to prove him wrong. He criticised me. That's no there. But you've got to get the big picture here. Look at the squad that Rangers have got. The new playing in the Europa League, the Liverpools and the Napolis and Ajax. A young boy, 18, through in the middle. A boy, a midfield player, through in the back 4. I mean, Barrett, Splinker, I'm going the one way because he's scared. Tavernier, I don't know what's happened to him. He's not got Bassett to cover for him. But the Rangers supporters like myself, I can't see any difference by getting rid of Van Bronckhorst. I cannot see what difference it would make getting rid of him.
Yeah, this is
anybody comes in. Sorry.
No, you carry on. No, carry on. I thought you were finished. On you go.
No, but to bring somebody in the new, right, is it going to give him a lift or that? But you still get the same players. You're still driving the old motor you've got. It's not a big fancy BMW you've got now or any other car for advertising reasons, right? I'm saying to you, think about it. Let's get real. The squad is diminished with injuries. We sold with Spine, Aribo and Bassey, who covered for Tavernier, which is getting shown up now. But let's get real, lads. Christ, it's not going to come in and take over and make it all better with the same squad they've got sitting there now.
So whose fault is it then if you want the managers to get a bit of the pressure off him? Whose fault is it?
Well, I was on a couple of weeks ago trying to console my boy. He paid the 60 quid and it's 180 now. He's going to get worse.
Oh no, I remember, Matt. Oh dear. I mean, we can laugh about it, but that's an expensive 6 games, and that's why some Rangers fans are hurt, Gordon. Look, tonight is clearly an accumulation, right? Because as Matt points out, James Sands, a midfielder, and Leon King, an 18-year-old, expected to go in and keep a clean sheet or do a good job in the Champions League. If you'd said that in July, August, Rangers fans would not have fancied that prospect at all. So tonight, and then are Tavernier and Barisic, as Matt says, anywhere near the level they used to be? So maybe tonight in itself is understandable, but we go back to it's that accumulation, isn't it, of the 6 games?
If you want to go down the excuse route, I certainly can.
But hold on, when does an excuse become? What's the line between excuse and legitimate reason?
Make a point for the disappointment, especially tonight. Now, you're right. You can't legislate for the amount of injuries that Rangers have got. Suspensions tonight as well didn't help. Were they the strongest? No, they weren't. I certainly, when I looked at the Rangers side, and I'm not just picking in Sands and King, but they were all over the place. Defensively, they were terrible tonight, positionally wise, and they made it too easy. But they need protection now. We were talking before the game started, and I think a caller come on and says, look, we need the big players, i.e. the Taverniers, the Kents, people like that, to step up. They've got Davis in the middle of the park. I just think the game bypassed him. Terrific footballer. Cholak up front, who's been banging for him. Invisible man. Didn't see him. I don't even know if he touched the ball. Maybe our centre didn't get a kick. There was a lot of disappointment in the performance of the Rangers players. Yes, you can throw into the mix about the injuries, suspensions and everything, but at no time in this campaign without the even name, without Davis and all that in the centre back and Lundstrom back in, there's no point at all did I think Rangers were going to get a point.
Matt, you mentioned James Tavernier. What's the deal then? Do you think he's out of form? Is he carrying an injury? Is it both? Is he missing Connor Goldson?
I think he's actually missing the guy who covered them all last year, and that was Calvin Bassey. If you look at Tavernier when he pushes up the park, when he comes back, he doesn't know if he's whipped man to mark. Bassey always came across. And I'm not going to Mr. DL to make excuses about the result tonight. I will accept that, as I always do. I mean, I've just been out and bought my other boy a Campus Lang Rangers season ticket. It only cost me 40 quid. 180.
At least you're watching the Rangers.
No. Yeah, the point is, but when you're talking about the boy at the back, the King and Sands at the back with one in behind me, because they were coming through midfield, they're overrunning midfield. They've got a guy at 38 trying to do this. Listen, there's nobody going to make any difference to Rangers. I knew with the squad they've got or the injuries they've got to come in and take us forward. I don't think, but I may be wrong. I may get slaughtered tomorrow and work, but that's my opinion.
That's what it's all about, having to face your colleagues the next day. James Tavernier, Mark, discuss.
He's in a bad place just now. Now he'll always crop up with a goal like he's done tonight and at the weekend, but defensively,
two goals in 2 games and
amazing.
Yeah,
amazing defensively. He is not the player he was the last couple of seasons. He's almost reverted back to what he was when he first joined Rangers. Too easily beat, positionally all wrong. I really think he suffers from not having Goldson beside him, inside him. I don't think it's Bassey. Bassey was left side centre half. Goldson missing. I think you see major flaws in Tavernier's game defensively. He's not got that cover there. I don't think he's got that voice in his ear actually pulling him into position as well. And I think he's so much thinking forward that he forgets he's got a job to do going back. He'll get away with that a lot domestically. Champions League, no, you don't get away with it.
Right, thank you, Matt. Based on what you've heard, Rangers fans, are you agreeing or disagreeing with what's going on? 01419511025. We'll get you on next.
This is Rangers versus Ajax. Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Gordon Dalziel and Mark Wilson are here. We're poring over where it went wrong for Rangers tonight and reflecting on a very, very disappointing group stage campaign in the Champions League. It's 6 played, 6 defeats and lots of goals conceded, no points on the board. And no, Rangers fans, you don't always want to hear from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst on nights like this, but it's important we get an explanation, and we'll do it hopefully before the end of the show. Let's bring in David in Kirkintilloch first though. How do you feel about tonight, David?
Hi, just totally disappointed in the whole European campaign, to be honest. On my way home tonight, a game that didn't really want to be it. It's been like that since we bought this package, which I was listening to Mark saying 160 quid. Bought three of these packages at the start of the campaign. Season ticket holder, about $2,000 before the Parkhead defeat. And then we get 4-0. We were away to Ajax 4-0. Just totally gutted, and I just feel like the different points of view are just clashing. The main points I hear is, again for Gio is, he took you to a European final. He qualified for the Champions League, and I've came to the conclusion. I was sitting half time at Motherwell. Another Rangers fans are not enjoying what they're watching, never mind the results. We can accept coming up against a better team and getting beat, but I sat there at half time against Motherwell because there was so much evidence that could suggest that Gio was, you could see a lot in his favour, and there was so much against. It was like you could sit in the fence a long time. But when that half time at the Motherwell game, when I seen how clueless he sets up that team, I made up my mind. I'd have sacked him at half time. We need to get him out root and branch. He's devalued every player we've got. I don't think he could have made a worse job of this if he had actually attempted to sabotage the efforts of this club.
Wow, that's quite the criticism, but fair play. David's thought about it. He's taking you through the timeline. He didn't always feel that way, and gets to the Motherwell game and so on.
Do you know where I'm going to agree with him?
David's passionate about it, and you see when you hear a bit about the money being spent and stuff, that sort of hits home, doesn't it? Why Rangers fans just wanted a bit more.
Well, I'm going to agree with him on one. I think there's a way to lose, Gordon. It's not nice to lose. You always want to be a winner, and everybody will tell you in sport that's what they're there for. But I think entertainment value for Rangers supporters lately, take Saturday out of the equation. I think a lot of Rangers supporters were happy with the performance, but I think it's been dreadful. I really do. You know, we've stood in here most Tuesdays watching this campaign, going along it with Rangers, and it's been very poor to watch. It's been a hard watch. They come into the game, they sort of have that 10-15 minute spell where you think something's going to happen, and then it's very poor, and people pay very good money. I'm not saying that teams can go out there and play terrific entertaining football week in week out, but you go back to take Saturday for the Aberdeen game out. We went Dundee United, they were winning 2-0 and the fans were leaving in droves after 75 minutes, and there've been other games like that. The campaign in Ibrox hasn't been exciting. The Champions League, you can accept losing, but losing with a bit of passion, a bit of entertainment, a bit of getting at them, trying to create chances, playing balls in the box, you know, getting the crowd excited. I don't think that's happened for the Rangers supporters.
Supporters paid £60 a ticket the night minimum, and they were leaving after 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Like, I mean, half time at Motherwell, what I was sitting listening and what I was looking at is my team, which took. I believe that team and that squad took us to a European final. Right, that team and that squad qualified, despite the efforts of a coaching staff that are trying to work something in there that clearly isn't working. They're an absolute disaster. There's no other way to dress it up. When we started off, when he came in, we were 7 points ahead of Celtic. Hadn't lost in 2.5 years. We just come off a league campaign. We were unbeaten through the domestic season. Nobody was moaning about recruitment and all that at that time. What I sat and watched at Motherwell is we were turning in individual players. I started, by the way back at the Celtic game, or even last season, Borna Barisic. We've went through every single one of them now, and every single one of them now is horrendous. Players were getting valued 5 million, 10 million, 15 million. You wouldn't give 2 bob for any of them now.
I agree with that. I agree with
it.
I can totally understand the comments, Gordon. And I look at Rangers team. Forget the new signings. Remember the lads that were there. Remember the lads that got them. You know, they won the title, got them to the Europa League final. Every single one of them. Somebody can correct me. I think McGregor's been excellent at times, but every single outfield player for me has went back the way. I really do. I look at every one of them. The Morellises, the Kents, Tavernier's coming in for it, Barisic, every single Kamara. I know he's been injured, but up until he get injured, has it? Scott Wright in and out. Every player's went back the way.
David, where do you stand on the notion of this is Champions League, it's a step up, too much money, can't compete, etc.?
It's happening domestically. It's happening. You mentioned, I think you were coming up at the start, but I could sat and watched that tonight. I actually thought it'd be more than 4K. Rangers were static all over the park. They're taking instructions as well. Like this has been. I've heard comments since Gio came in. You know, at the very beginning, there was 3 of them running at the dugout. The dugout. It's like that at the moment. There was 3 of them running at the dugout, telling Borna to stay back. You know, they're restricting players' movements. They've got these strict instructions, which I don't believe that they actually really take on board, or they fully they've got faith in. You know, it's like domestically, we set up against Livingston and Dundee. And we played a defensive set-up and all that. It was horrendous to watch, this horseshoe sort of scenario. And then we went away to Napoli and played an attacking style of football, attacking line-up. It wasn't an attacking style, actually. But you know what I mean? Nobody understands these actual tactics. It's domestically we're judging it on, really.
That's it, Mark. And hereby declare, for future episodes of Clyde One Super Scoreboard, we're now banned from pretending that you know, the league's all that matters and European football is somehow separate. This has just shown it. It's actually a lie. That's what it is, because fans might just be able to stomach heavy European defeats because they know they're up against better opposition. But if you're not doing it domestically, it snowballs and it becomes an accumulation. And the fans are a little bit angry tonight about Ajax, but they're more angry because they're remembering Livingston and they're remembering the performances in some of the other games domestically.
It comes hand in hand, there's no doubt about that. Now, if Rangers had a decent Champions League group stage where they picked up maybe a win and a couple of draws, I don't think the criticism of the domestic form would be that bad. But it's both going hand in hand. The Champions League performances are almost feeding in to a weekend's performances, and it isn't tiredness, it's just, I think, that losing mentality, that losing feeling, trying to get yourself up to a tempo that can trouble opponents domestically is proven just too much for them. A lot of David's points here from when he came on, I cannot disagree with. I think he hits the nail on the head with a lot of them. Recruitment, the players at the club being devalued, the actual style that Van Bronckhorst is setting this team up to play. He even mentioned getting to Europa League final was on the team and maybe another manager. Maybe a wee bit unfair because he changed things within some of those games, but his big players were on a high from maybe their time under Steven Gerrard, and it was kind of the similar. But now I look at those players, I look at Kent, I look at Morelos, I look at Kamara, Barisic, Tavernier. Every single one of them is worse. Now, when you get one or two off their game, you think it's loss of form. When you get a whole lot,
well, I mean, it might not have been enough to do much for the campaign or even tonight. But look at Morelos' miss. 2-0. It's a ridiculous miss.
Yeah, but that's, for me this season, that summed Morelos up to me, Gordon. It's as simple as that.
Thank you, David. A lot of good passionate stuff in there. How does Andy in West Lothian feel?
I'm just disgusted at some of the callers, to be quite honest with you. That guy Alan that was on there anyway, he didn't need to spend 160 or 180 quid buying this package. If he didn't want to go to the games, he didn't need to buy it. And if he's the way he's talking, right? He's been watching the dugout there and he's been watching the match.
Well, David's still on the line. David, do you want to defend that?
I don't understand that. I mean, I buy the tickets, I'll be there, win, lose or draw, support my team. What do you mean?
Wait, well, what are you coming on complaining about the price of tickets for?
I'm complaining about a management team that's run our team and the squad right into the ground. Nobody understands what they're doing. I watched a game with three front players pressing and seven going back the way. With a whole middle of the park with Scotty Arfield running about trying to shut down three Ajax players. The least you can do is compete. The least you can do is compete in the physical battle in a game of football. We're running 4k less than other teams at home, and we're defending. So I'm having a go at the management team.
Aye. But can I come back in? Aye.
Of course you can. Carry on.
Aye. Right. What's all this? See all this running 4k less and all this crap. When did all this come into football? Come on. I've been watching Rangers till I was 9-year-old. I'm 74-year-old now. And we've 11 players out the night. I'm not saying they would all have played the night, but a lot of them would have played the night. We've got two young laddies playing centre-backs there. And as Gordon Dalziel said, we're like careless chickens. I mean, give the guy a break. He can only put on the field what he's got available, and he's not got a lot available.
David?
See, I understand that. We've got this big, huge fan base, and there's going to be people supporting Gio. Unfortunately, I just believe that's going to keep him in a job. And I've got every bit of respect for that. I mean, I'm not going to sit and argue with a fellow Rangers fan on the radio. He's entitled to his opinion, but understand we've got all these injuries and all that. But this is dating back now. This is dating back since the manager arrived. That there's been serious questions over this management team. We're not just talking about the night against Ajax with a depleted team.
What do you think then, Andy? So tell us the positive case. Can Gio turn this around? If so, why or how?
Of course he can turn it around. Once we get a fully fit squad, Gio will turn it around all right. I have every confidence in the manager. And I think all these guys coming on and shouting for his head, anybody that comes into that position and if Gio was to go, what has he got there to play with? Nothing basically.
What gives you the confidence he can turn it round?
Well, when we get we're going to the World Cup break. When we get Tom Lawrence and we get Davies back, and hopefully Yilmaz will be back, we can turn it around. We can put a decent team on the park again. I mean, I spoke to my fellow Rangers reporters sitting round about me tonight and tell them before I've always kicked that I didn't expect anything with the team that was out there tonight. That we had to give Gio a break and we had to give the team a break. We were playing with the best we had, but the best we had couldn't compete with Ajax tonight. There's no doubt about it. They couldn't compete with Ajax. And I'm fed up listening to Gordon Dalziel agreeing with everybody. Again, Gio's this and Gio's that. It's a lot of crap. Give the man a break. Let him get a full team on the park. And let's get back playing for Rangers. And let's get back supporting Rangers. Supporting the management team. Support the board. Support the team on the park.
Andy, here's a question for you then. Do you disagree that since Gio come in, all the players have improved that was at the club under Steven Gerrard, or they went backwards?
Did you say they've improved or went backwards?
Yeah. Are they playing to their form? Are they playing? They went backwards. So who carries the can for that?
Well,
if you look at managers that come in, for instance, and obviously it's talking about Rangers tonight, but across the city, players have improved under managers. Most Rangers players, and let's get through them: the Taverniers, Kents, Morelos, Kamara. I know he's been injured, but even before that, Barisic. Every single one of them have been back the way. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that.
So you think they're playing to the best of their potential? Is that what you're saying?
They're playing to the best of their ability with the rest of the players I've got on the pitch. Gordon, I can mind you watching you, and I was one of them.
Back the way.
Shouting to get you up the park. You were crap in your day, by the way. You were crap.
Apart from that, I was okay.
No, you were crap. Didn't laugh, Gordon, it's a fact.
Oh, Gordon Bernard, bro. Hey, listen, I'm just laughing out embarrassment. I totally agree with you. It's about the most sense you've made in the last 10 minutes.
Does that really? You know what, we're so late for this break. I'd love to hear Andy just insult you for the rest of the night. If that somehow makes tonight's defeat better for Andy, good on you, Andy. You sound like you need something to cheer you up. That was Andy and David on the line. Look, very interesting stuff from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst tonight. I'm going to hear it next.
This is Rangers versus Ajax. Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are here. We're going to be joined live in the studio by Andy from West Lothian, Gordon Dalziel's biggest fan for the last 10 minutes of the show. Andy's call is going to keep me awake with laughter tonight. If all else fails, just tell you how bad a footballer you were 40 years ago.
He gave it to me, Chide, didn't he? Oh, God. It was about the only sense he made in the full conversation.
I got up for Frank a couple of weeks ago, but that tops it.
That
Andy's scathing assessment.
Personal.
I loved it.
By the way, I was like a wee boy. Don't laugh, you were crap.
I was going to say there was a 4-letter C word used to describe Gordon Dalziel, but I know it's a late night show, but it wasn't that one, so you're alright.
Magic.
Wow.
Loved it. What a way, by the way, what a way to end this Champions League campaign for us. We've been on late.
Sorry, are you allowed to say that on a late night version of the show?
Well, Andy said about 10 times to me.
Yeah, it's probably a bit late. I think that horse is bolted.
Poor Andy.
I've just got visions of Andy's neighbours, family, if anyone's around in the house. If they are, just sort of, what's going on? What's going on in there?
Exactly.
Who are you shouting at, Andy?
Anyway,
the guy in the radio.
Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, anyone?
Yeah.
Well, same as you did, very difficult, very disappointing, of course. The campaign we had in Europe with a lot of big losses, so that's disappointing for us. It started really well with two good ties. We played against Union and PSV and qualified for Champions League. But after playing 6 games, you can see the difference in in level and against the teams we competed, and so that was very difficult for us to get results. Of course, the gap is there, but you don't want to concede so many goals against you. And if you see, the goals we conceded in many games in this campaign, it was too much, especially at home against Liverpool. Against teams, from the highest quality, and we struggled in those moments, and it's a big learning experience for us. I've read many stories that we struck gold, with so many millions coming in. It's not true. I think it's not true. All the figures I see in papers. We don't have that budget to spend, and so that's another thing that's also. We saw in the beginning that we played Champions League, so now we have 40 million extra. Those are not true, and that creates of course, an expectation of we can buy new players. But I think the way we bought the players this season is to qualify for Champions League. But I don't think that the club will spend millions if the millions aren't there.
Not sure that's going to make Rangers fans feel much better.
I couldn't understand it. I don't know what all about the 40 million.
And by the way, there was also a comment made on TV from Gio to suggest that the problem is that the SPFL didn't give Rangers the weekend off because Ajax have had 6 days to prepare and Rangers haven't.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of Rangers, apart from Andy, will buy into that. I really don't. I don't know why he's going down that road after a disappointing campaign, try to come out with 40 million, etc, etc. Listen, he's got a squad there. Was it depleted tonight? Of course it was. It was a very difficult task, but overall the campaign's been terrible for them. The brand of football's been terrible. And I think most Rangers fans will be delighted that the European campaign's finished and they can look at the league now. But there's still a lot of work to do in that, and they need to start really getting the results. There was a bit of hope at the weekend. I thought they were excellent against Aberdeen, so they'll need to carry that on. But I just can't understand.
You can see the difference in money and the difference in levels and the difference in finances. So Aberdeen were bound to lose like that. So Rangers don't deserve much credit for it. Presumably.
Exactly. I don't think that helps him with the Rangers fans that are doubting him. Now, it's not mates on this programme saying that he must go. It's Rangers fans who are going along and paying their money and watching it week in, week out that are not happy with the manager.
That's 2 points. Well, the 2 points you raised, blaming the league for not giving you a rest weekend is frankly ridiculous. Now, if another league want to do that, then fine. But our league, for as many years as I can remember, when teams get to Champions League, you fulfil your fixture at the weekend, you roll into the Champions League. It's always been the case. It's not really impacted teams before. But the money thing, it's not true about the money and the rewards you get for qualifying. Even the transfer fees that they've got in for players going out, the Europa League final. What isn't true about that?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, very quickly, I've seen it said that this 40 million that gets bandied about, I've seen articles written to say it's not as much as that, but Stuart Robertson was on record as saying the Europa League final run was worth as much as a Champions League campaign. So they've done that last year, and then they've got Champions League, and it's a fact that they sold Bassey, Aribo and Patterson.
Yeah.
So whether there's as much money as some people say, maybe not, but there's still something there. And by the way, that's before you even get to, are you spending it wisely, no matter how much you spend?
Of course, and that's a big thing. That's what falls on the manager and Ross Wilson. And for this campaign, it has been miles off. Recruitment, performances, from the top to the bottom, miles off.
Yeah, it's been another tough night for Rangers in the Champions League. Of course, across the board, it's not been a brilliant European campaign for Scottish clubs. It's Celtic's turn tomorrow. Just a small task of going to Madrid and taking on the holders over there in the Bernabeu. Thank you to Mark and Gordon. Thank you all for listening so late on, for your kind, warm wishes Andy. Towards the pundits. Thanks, tonight. Really a special moment to leave us with. We are back tomorrow at 6 o'clock with Hugh Keevans and Marvin Bartley. It's not one to be missed, believe me, because we've got Real Madrid, Celtic, and more of that reaction to Rangers tonight. Amber is up next. Have a good night.
Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Luker's Jaguar, the new name for Taggarts. The same friendly faces and great service with a new name above the door.